Here we go.
Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Good evening and welcome to Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Glad to have you with us. We had to make a guest change tonight due to those ugly storms in California. Geraldine Orozco is out of power. So Melinda Leslie is joining us by phone tonight. We're very glad Melinda is here. She will join us momentarily. Dirty Filth is here as well with another cartoon that he's going to draw up for us. So we're going to have a good time. The best part about it is we have each and every one of you. Let's start off with Race Fan in the gold medal position. Trucker Andrew with the silver. Michael Morris taking home a bronze medal tonight. Hi, Roy Boy. Laura Lobbs, Tim Mothman, Chris 716, Jimmy Gonzalez, and Road Flair. Good to see you. Paul Demon, Canada Chef Chris, Robert Lamoth. How you doing? Robert Lamoth will be signing autographs after the show. Line up to the left of the studio if you don't mind. To the left of the studio. Flat Six, how you doing? Forrest Louie, Deer Slayer, Stephanie Kenny Blankenship, thank you for joining us. Lee the Bee and Jennifer Patterson, nice to see you. Digger Dog, Mama Susan, and Mama Catherine. I love you, my dear. Thank you for joining us. And thank you for the text messages, everyone. I just love those. Thank you. T-Bone, my man, how you doing? And where are we here on our roll call? Jurassic Joey is back. Jurassic Joey will be signing autographs after the show as well. Line up to the right of the studio, if you don't mind, to the right of the studio. Belletia, my man. Jeeves, welcome to SOR chat. Human Carl, good to see you. Peppa H, nice to have you back. SG Nav Spotter, just another guy named Harry. And Eternity Eternal, thank you for joining us. Scrolling on down, we have Asteroid. How you doing? And Rose Brooks, thank you for joining us. Hello there, Destiny Rocks. Nice to see you. And where are we here? Christine Lynn, thank you for joining us. Nikki Williams, good evening to you. And who else do we have here? Heather McIntyre. Wow. Good to see you, my dear. It's been a long time. All right, let's continue on here. Who's in Indianapolis? I mentioned Susan Lawrence. Let me check Facebook here for a second. Hold on. Let's check the old Facebook here. Click here, click there. It is Susan Lawrence. Holy cow. Look at that. I'm on a roll here. Marty Burback, thank you for coming on in. Buckethead the Soothsayer. How you doing, bud? And where are we here in our roll call? Les Paul Holland, strumming away in Australia. Hello, Maureen Green, Bobby Farron, and Dry Toast, the best name on YouTube, right there. Jorgensen, how you doing? Welcome to SOR chat. Continuing on with roll call, Eli McInnes, Bobbert, Vanessa Gold, thank you for joining us tonight. Continuing on with our roll call, where are we here? Let's say hello to Jason Von Leuven, good Dutch kid right there. Okay, continuing on, David Hayworth, nice to see you. Mike Arrington, good to have you back, man. Gray Owl, what's going on? Where have you been, Gray Owl? Stu effing Gerson. There he is. Jeff Steve Garvey. He'll hit a home run for you. Nikki in Seattle. Latro. Good to have you both here. Let's get the radio side going. And we say hello to everyone listening in on the radio side of Spaced Out Radio tonight. Melinda Leslie talking all things UFO, aliens, ET contact. We're going to have a great show with her tonight as we continue on with our roll call. There's Rock and Rory. And Bill WD40 has entered the chat room. He is currently lubing us up for tonight's show because you always want to go into a show nice and smooth. You know what I'm saying? You know, you don't want to go in rough-edged. It just doesn't work very well. Got to go in smooth. Thanks, Bill WD40, for that. It's always a beautiful job by Bill. All right, let's continue on with our roll call here as we are running out of time. We got 30 seconds or less. Who are we here? We're still all caught up. And reminder, Super Chat is open. Hi, Woo Train. How you doing? And don't forget, you can shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. We do not have ugly swag, people. You can wear our stuff out in public and be proud of it. All right, get those horns up. Let's rock. From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I'm your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on Odyssey Radio, TalkStream Live, and KPNL. All of our archives are free. You can join us at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. You'll do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. You can follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. A power show of information tonight as Melinda Leslie steps in to talk about all things UFO and ET contact and the intuition that goes along with it. Then in hour number 3, Steve Stockton is here from Among the Missing. Following that, Travis William-Mustus has the Crypted Report. All right, Melinda Leslie is a good fan and friend of this show. She will be running our UFO Skywatch when we are in Reno, Nevada, May 10th through 12th for the 3rd annual SOR fan party. She has always been accommodating to this show, as she is tonight, because she is so connected when it comes to the UFO world and everything that's not only happening with experiencers, but politically as well. She is an encyclopedia of information that has gone on for decades since she got involved with ufology. She's a member of MUFON. She is somebody who runs a UFO Skywatch in her home of Sedona, Arizona. If it's UFO, Melinda's in on it. Melinda Leslie, get you to unmute your microphone. Thank you for coming back on Spaced Out Radio. How are you?
I had to unmute there. Doing good. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you just fine, thank you. And
very good.
Due to technical issues, we have to do this one over the phone, so the audio may not be as high quality as you're used to, but nonetheless, the show must go on, and here we are. So, Melinda, thank you so much for being here. And, you know, there's a lot been going on in the UFO world regarding disclosure and whistleblowers and everything. Are you tired of it yet? Is it just too much right now?
No. No. Bring on more, please. Look, I've been in the UFO research field for 35 years. And I never dreamt in my lifetime that I would see us going through this disclosure process. And right now it's slowed down, but there are spurts of things that happen, and there's a lot of pushback going on right now. So I want to see us continue to move forward, and for more information to come out, more whistleblowers to come forward, more hearings to happen. And there are at least 2 hearings scheduled to happen. We don't have exact dates, but we're understanding that they'll be over the next couple of months or less. And then there's even rumors of another one maybe coming before, down to the summer kind of thing. So we'll see what happens. But if we have more hearings, if we have more high-level witnesses coming forward, it's exciting time to be in the field. And like I said, I never dreamt I'd see this in my life, and here we are. I mean, we're, you and me, my friend, and all your listeners, we are living through this. We're living through a lot of interesting things going on, and disclosure just being one of them. And I look forward to, I think disclosure is going to change the political landscape a little bit, and I think it's going to become part of that discussion because, again, there are some big things slated to happen this year with disclosure, and here in the U.S., of course, it's significant presidential election year. A lot of stuff going on with that. We won't get into that here tonight, though.
Well, I want to ask you one. I want to ask you one question politically here. Do you think UFOs are going to be on the topic leading into the presidential run?
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. Yeah, I do. If everything we're hearing coming down the grapevine with our Senate and Congress and the subject, and the likelihood of more hearings happening this year, that'll bring media attention. And we already are having one of the major political candidates here. Well, whether he's major or not is up to some debate. But we have RFK, Robert Kennedy, Jr., talking about it and saying that he would disclose, and I think you're going to hear more from him. And I think, so I think it's going to become part of the discussion. As we have these hearings and more media attention, I mean, it came close to being part of the discussion a couple times already. And I think as it becomes a bigger topic this year, it'll work its way in there. Like I said, RFK is already talking about it. So I think based on all those factors adding up, yeah, I do think it's going to be part of the discussion.
I think it's going to be interesting to see if it actually plays out because of the way that many of the Republicans shot down, especially the antiquated Republicans who shot down the Schumer amendment and really made the UFO topic extremely vanilla due to so-called national security. Where do we sit on the national security front? We see a big brawl on social media happening between Sean Kirkpatrick, the former head of Arrow, and we see that versus David Grush, the whistleblower. Mainly the argument that Kirkpatrick is still stating publicly that he never got a single email from Grush or any whistleblowers regarding what they know about UFOs, and Grush is saying that that's completely false. I mean, this is what we're dealing with right now.
A couple of media sources, for instance, have already been provided copies of emails between Grush and the Arrow office and Kirkpatrick. And, of course, Kirkpatrick being the one who heads up Arrow, or did. And so there's a paper trail showing the amount of involvement. We've had a couple of the UFO nukes guys who testified and shared their information, their stories, and their evidence with them, crying bullshit. Oh, sorry about my language. I apologize. crying out anyways, and then Grush doing that and other of the witnesses. So what we have here is we have we basically know that Kirkpatrick is lying. All these individuals, when there's emails and paper trails of their involvement with them and sharing their data, for him to say, oh yeah, they didn't come to me, or I didn't, talk to them, or we didn't, get their information or whatever. It's complete nonsense. And then Kirkpatrick goes and does some talks and some presentations and interviews for, one of them was a group sponsored by Lockheed, Lockheed Martin, and et cetera, that you go, wait a second, it's like, it's becoming the obfuscation going on there, and Kirkpatrick's lies are just very evident, and misstatements, and again, this thing with him claiming he didn't meet with people he met with, and that the Aero Department didn't hear from people that they did hear from. I was talking to my research associate, Randy Kopang, about this, and I've been doing research with him for 35 years. And he's very pragmatic about stuff. And we were just like, he was just saying, come on, this is the same thing as the Condon Committee and Blue Book all over again. It's an old playbook. They're doing the same stuff they've always done. And I was saying on a Twitter Spaces, X, whatever you call it, Spaces recently, just the other night, that makes it predictable, because they are following an old playbook. The pushback going on right now is, again, I've been in the field for 35 years. I'm pretty well versed in about almost 80 years of formal ufology. And we've seen this over and over again, and so it's like, okay, things heat up, things start happening, you get this pushback. They're following this old playbook that they've done over the years. And I think as the field, we can say, well, where did we fall short previously from not getting more ground? Well, first off, we've acquired a lot more ground this time around for sure, because we have Senate and congressional hearings. We have the talk of more of those. I mean, there's been 3 already, if everyone remembers, the last one being the one with Grush, of course, but 2 others, at least. And we have more planned. We have had the White House even make comments, and then we had major laws passed, multiple. And even though the Schumer Amendment got watered down, it was still there and had a lot of good teeth in it still, even though some things were missing. And so we have to sit back occasionally and go, well, wait a second, these are significant wins over just a number of years, relatively short period of time compared to the history of the field. And then you go, okay, these were making headway. Again, I never expected I'd see any of those things happen in my life. And then I'm here to witness it. It's thrilling. So you go, okay, these guys are going back, they're falling back to an old playbook of obfuscation and redirection and spin and media spin. And if we sit back and look at it as a community and we study our history, we'll go, okay, this has happened before. How do we do this? Well, we've also gone further, because before there weren't Senate and Congress passing laws. There weren't laws. There wasn't hearings. Maybe there was attempts here and there, in the far distant past at some hearings, but it's gone further this time and more hearings. And so, and with more planned again. So you go, wait a second, we've taken this further. It should not surprise anyone that pushback is going to be there, because the pushback is coming from the DOD and the DIA, maybe a little bit of help of CIA, NSA, but Department of Defense and Defense Intelligence Agency. And you go, and the big business. I had said for years the whole UFO subject became a corporate secret. I've been saying that in lectures and everything for at least 20 years of my research, and everything that's happened is proving that to be true, that it became a corporate secret. I mean, that's kind of the whole point to everything Gresh had to say. And then you go, well, wait a second, okay, so, and you have, that's out of the purview of Congress and the Senate. And even though they're supposed to have oversight of things going on at the DOD and the DIA, but, you know, we were once told here in the U.S., beware the military-industrial complex, you know, and so, you know, Eisenhower's outgoing speech. And so we have, so yeah, beware the military-industrial complex. There is this connection. There is these, you know, backdoor dealings and money being siphoned off through the SAP programs, et cetera. And you go, you know, and it should have Senate congressional oversight. So thank God we have a handful of both, a couple of handfuls of both in the Senate and the House. Really, I mean, and that's a growing list of people. We just had that closed door briefing with the ICIG, the Intelligence Community Inspector General, and everyone came out of that saying, wow, this has moved forward. We actually know where to look now. We got some answers. And we can't tell you exactly what that is because it was a classified briefing. But there was a lot of talking, and there was a lot of sharing, and a lot of news, you know, reporters and whatnot interviewing these guys in the hallways as they came out, guys and women, I should say, and so again, that's a major step forward. It's slow. So you know, going back to your question, just asked me, you know, are you tired of it? You want more? And I go, yeah, I want more. I want it to happen faster and bigger, and you know, and it's frustrating because it's been an exciting couple of years. Every once in a while we go through these weeks or a month or two, you know, where nothing seems to happen or it's slowed down, but nothing's gone away. It's just kind of been a holding till the next shoe drops, you know. And again, we have these senators and congressmen very, very interested, and it's an amazing thing to watch. But again, I tell everyone, first off, all the pushback is absolutely to be expected. And they're playing by old playbooks. So we know, you know, if we go back and go over the history of those programs, maybe we can learn for what are they going to try to do next, you know, and that there's going to be media spin and et cetera. And, you know, Arrow was a disappointment. I don't think anyone was shocked by that. And again, we have senators and congressmen saying, we don't care, we're moving forward anyways, like that, you know, like that's not stopping them. And the media hears some of it, but not really. You know, people say, what do you think, Kirkpatrick? Did he have a negative influence? And I go, no, because I can tell you from all the clients who go on my tour, if I say UAP or I say hearings or I say Grush, a huge majority of them know what I mean. If I said Kirkpatrick, I guarantee you none of them would know. He's not had the attention. And Arrow became almost, you know, I'm searching for the right word, but it ended up like not mattering, you know. And it's a shame because I think Gillibrand and those that pushed for that to happen had good intention. I'd like to think that. And but I think when it was DOD people doing it, you were dead on arrival, you know, because the DOD is pushing back. You said earlier about the pushback that happened on the Schumer amendment, and that was particularly from Rogers, who is in, you know, everything in his district is like Redstone Arsenal, and you know, and clearly the DOD running things in his district. And then the other gentleman was Turner, and which is Wright Patterson Air Force Base, etc. So you go, well, these guys, their whole district and the jobs and the industry is all supporting the DOD. Of course, they're going to do the bidding of the DOD. That's, again, I feel like all this is almost predictable. And so based on that, if we kind of take a bigger view and rise above it all, you can go, okay, this is predictable. We're getting the same patterns as before. The difference is now with more hearings, with more witnesses, I think we are on the leading foot on this. When I say we, I mean the UFO community, but I mean the subject. I mean the truth. Maybe right. I mean the truth.
Right.
I think the truth has the leading foot on all this.
The question is we only got about 4 minutes to go before we got to go to break at the bottom of the hour. Melinda Leslie is our guest. Melinda, what is the truth? There are so many different truths out there that it's hard to even fathom where to start right now on who's actually spilling the truth.
Well, I think we can start with the basics. Okay, the basics are we're not alone. There's an NHI presence, more than likely extraterrestrial, but everyone, I hate all the different discussions, but I get it, whether it's happening politically or happening people who are newer to this subject. As an abductee, it's painful to hear all this NHI stuff, but okay, I'm not immune to it. I get it. It's frustrating, but I get it. Okay, probably you are too, And so I can say, okay, so you have the whole non-human intelligence thing. So, but regardless, you can go, that's not us. Okay? So anyway, we can debate on exactly what it is or isn't, but we can say it's not third dimensional human and it's not our technology, which then gets the next thing. UFOs are here, they're present, they're advanced technology. And so something is building and flying some very advanced stuff. It doesn't seem to be any foreign adversaries because the best intelligence stuff is to suggest that none of them are this far ahead to the amount of stuff that's being seen. And then the other thing we're starting to hear because of Grush and others is the existence of crash retrievals, a reverse engineering program, underground base installations. These things are now being talked about. And I think we could all go back and go, well, if we, looked at the map of the way we thought disclosure would go when it started coming out, that we would go as quick as we did into things like crash retrievals and reverse engineering programs. But it went there right away. And then that hasn't come off the table. They just add things onto the table like this interdimensional thing and consciousness stuff and, other things that are coming up. And, in different organizations kind of skirting the edge on those subjects. But you go, hey, again, what's the truth? We can say we're not alone. There's a non-human intelligence. There's advanced technology. Doesn't appear to be made by anyone on Earth. And that some of these craft have crashed, been given, and have been shot down, probably a combination of all the above. And there's a reverse engineering program that's gone on with major aerospace and other technical companies to, where this stuff was farmed out through the SAPs. And then there's an illegal expenditure of money that you even have people like AOC now talking about, here in the U.S., Congresswoman. And, and you go, okay, so we're, they're asking the right questions. Someone recently said, hey, wherever they start from, it's like, at least they're going there, so if some of them, it's about, well, this is national security and they're going at it from the national security angle. Okay. Because you could list a couple senators and congressmen voicing concern about that. And then you have the ones voicing the concern about, well, this is misappropriation of funds and with no oversight from Congress regarding the expenditure of this money and how much money is being allocated and et cetera. So, but again, right. all roads for those folks take you there. So
Melinda, I'm going to get you to hold on right there.
We're going for them to sign on. It's all good.
Melinda, we're going to go to break here. Melinda Leslie, UFOs, ET contact next. on Spaced Out Radio. We are your home of the woo each and every night on the mighty SOR. Stay tuned. Thanks, Melinda. Appreciate that. Hi, Unknown Crypted. Hi, JSCO. We have a blob alert, everyone. A blob alert. Dirty Filth. Can you move your camera down just a little bit so we can get a full blob attack?
I've lost control of my left hand and no longer feel it.
Oh, goodness. Well, I guess we're not moving the camera then. We'll just have to zoom on in. There we go. So, Melinda, you can't see this, but Dirty Filth's cat Blob, who's a big star here, is on camera right now.
She's about 10,000 years old.
Cat's name is Blob?
Cat's name is Blob.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. What kind of kitty? Since I can't see it, describe this kitty to me.
Kitty is
Calico.
White, is calico, white, brown, black, and tan, or that reddish orange color.
So a calico that's mostly white?
No, got a white face, white tummy.
Oh.
And then it looks like a tiger. It's Blob.
I know. Yep. Many years ago, our family did that. That looked like that. So I think that's wonderful. I'll have to, when I get a chance, I'll see if there's pictures online.
Mm-hmm. Can do. Hi, Bad Cop, No Donut. Mike Rivers. Who else do we have here? Scrolling down. Blue Cruz, how you doing? And anybody else jumping in? No. Melinda, we want to say thank you. We're excited to see you in Reno for our 3rd annual SOR fan party, May 10th through 12th. Cannot wait to see you, my friend.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to doing a skywatch. Of course, I haven't. You and I at some point got to discuss logistics because I know nothing about the location or how we're going to do this. But that's all right. I will know that, everyone, and you know, and I'm a pro. I'll figure it out. We'll put something really good together, and we'll do some skywatch. And you know, it'll be casual. So for anyone going, it'll be a party. The whole thing's a big party. And the Skywatch will also likely, you know, be a party. And, but I'll have at least my goggles there and maybe a few other people with goggles will be bringing theirs. I'm sure we could get that to happen. Dave, you and me, and because we know a few other people. So, you know, so we'll do that and it'll be fun. It'll be fun. You know, we have to get away. You know, Dave, you know this. We got to get away from city lights. And hotel lights, because often the sides of the buildings are all lit up and stuff. And with the goggles, that creates a lot of glare.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, we want to be where it's dark and star-filled. But again, I'll get with you so we get all those logistics worked out, and it'll be a blast.
I look forward to it. And you know, the one thing that I love about this event, and I look forward to doing every year, is watching our celebrities such as yourself mingle with our listeners who are, you know, there. They hear you on the radio. They see you on other podcasts. They see you on documentaries, and boom, there you are right in front of them. And Melinda, you are such a loving person to, you know, open up your heart to all of our Spaced Out Radio listeners. It really means a lot to us.
Thanks, Dave. Well, it's super fun to do. I look forward to it every year because, like I said, everybody, it's a party. You want to be there. It's a party. You're with a bunch of like-minded people. There's a great impromptu discussions and some planned ones because Dave always has panels and whatnot. And it's a good time. It's a really good time. Your listeners are amazing, of course, and it's always fun. Like I said, it's a party.
Absolutely.
Last year, the year before, they've all been big parties.
And if you want to run into Melinda, find the closest baccarat table. She will be there.
That's right.
Uh-huh.
Do they have baccarat where we're going?
I'm pretty sure they do.
Oh, shit. And, you're going to have to find me.
Exactly. That's where I found you last time. Thank you to our We want to remind people, info@spacedoutradio.com, info@spacedoutradio.com. You can get your tickets there. And thank you to John and T-Bone for kicking off the super chats tonight. Questions will be asked in hour number 2. Stay tuned here. Hold on, Melinda.
Sure.
Second half hour of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. Very much appreciate tuning us in. Thank you. Reminder to all of you that if you missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter @Spaced Out Radio, Instagram @Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Here we go. Melinda Leslie is here with us. She's an experiencer. She's someone who is very much in the know when it comes to what's going on in the UFO world. She is somebody who has had ET contact, has helped others who have. Melinda, thank you so much for joining us. And I want to get a little tinfoil-ish here with you, Melinda, if you don't mind. And that is this. That is this. With everything that's going on, what do you think the U.S. government is trying to cover up when it comes to extraterrestrials, UFOs, or what's being hidden out of places like Area 51?
Well, I think what they're trying to cover up now is their culpability, is their past history with this, and to the degree that the lies about it over the years are going to be legal issues, and so I think now they're covering their whats. There you go, Dave. I'm trying to keep it clean for you, really. Okay, so they're covering their whats, and I think it's that's what they're doing now. Originally, whatever the decision process was, maybe in the 40s, to that this was a matter of national security, or use that at least as a justification that they can't release it to the public till they know more about it. But now it's become its own industry. We've heard the term break phase civilization, and that it's like I said, it's a whole industry. It's the military industrial complex. It's the making of trillions of dollars off the subject, and continued repression of that because it's unchecked. Unchecked power and unchecked expenditure out of control, and so that's where you're going to expect pushback, because no one wants anyone digging too deep on that. No one wants to get rid of the goose that laid the golden egg. And so it's like, yeah, So anyways, go back to your question, because I think I got off base there.
Never.
Yeah.
No, in regards to, there's always something being covered up by the government. We know this. What do you think they are covering up between ETs and maybe secret technology that we don't know about?
Well, everything for the reasons I just said. So I gave all the reasons, and what gets covered up as a byproduct of those reasons, and then covering up all their projects and their money and everything is the technology, is the extraterrestrial presence, is the science breakthrough, and the that we could have from that, getting off our dependence on oil or petroleum-based economy worldwide, and getting into alternative energy sources and free energy, 0 point energy, and then the technologies that operate on that, getting into what they really know about space, what they really know about our place in the universe, hidden human history, who we really are. I mean, I could go on and on. The extraterrestrial presence, or NHI presence, what that means, what it means for us in our personal development and our sociology, our psychology, what it means to religions and spirituality. This is everything at the core of reality of who we are and why we're incarnating now, and what the third dimension of Earth is about. And it's all being repressed and held away from you because someone wants to profit off of it. I mean, it sounds overly simple, but that's it, and then the control, the power. And no one wants you empowered. They want you dumbed down. Don't even get me started on what's happening with school systems and everything. I mean, there's, I think it's obvious that they want people disempowered. That's how they can control you, influence you, manipulate you financially, And so a lot is riding on disclosure. It's the beginning of shifting everything and bringing back democracy, and or reinforcing democracy, and it'll change everything worldwide, because these technologies will help mankind, and
Yes.
and the consciousness information will help mankind, and our relationship to the universe helps the planet. Not only do we get out of lies and repression, but we get into a greater awareness of our relationship to the rest of the universe. And I could go on and on. So there you go.
Well, okay. Let's stick with this for a second, because one of the things that we don't know, and it's an impossible question to answer, is what do the ETs want? What do you think they want from us here? You're an experiencer. You have connections.
Well, I mean, there's what I know from my own experiences. There's what I know from abduction and contact research, and the experiences of everything from my clients and my case studies for the work that I've done over the years. And what the major abduction researchers and research organizations and contact and research organizations, all kind of agree upon. And part of getting back to this whole disclosure stuff and everything I was just saying about why it's important is you get into those holding this secret, those who've done and performed the crash retrievals and the reverse engineering and work with ETs in these underground installations, because that's seen in these installations by everything from whistleblowers and insiders coming out and saying that happens, to the abductees and the MILABs, which is, for those that don't know, MIL for military and AB for abduction. It's a lot of ET abductees get targeted by covert humans, but then they're taken to these facilities where they see humans and ETs working together. I think this is shown in spades over and over again, and many different sources of information and evidence suggesting that that's so. But you go, okay, I always say those managing the ET presence, managing the technology, its development, the ET presence, all the, whole kit and caboodle, that those folks are keeping that information from us, a lot of it for money reasons and some of it for power reasons, like I already said. But you end up with we're in this deficit of information and knowledge on the subject, and what they really know they're not sharing. So do they know the answer to some of those questions? Yes, like what the ETs what. Now I can say from my experience and from research, and luckily my own experience is dry for the most part, and pretty much altogether, with the major research on the subject. I've not come across anything in abduction contact research that's at odds with my own experiences, and my own experiences match. Even early on, I mean, when I knew nothing about the subject, I had these experiences, had the memories and the recall, and I started to learn. And now I can say, after 35 years later being in the field, wow, everything supports my experiences being par for the course, being the norm, and with very, very few minor outliers, or things that might be outside the norm, but and that's the case for most people with experiences. New people to it think, oh, I'm having something that no one else has. It's different. But you can start going to a bunch of big support groups and stuff, and you learn, well, no, there will be other people that have the same stuff. And most of it is shared repeatedly. That's one thing that speaks to its reality and its authenticity, is people who don't know the research end up having experiences that match everybody else's. There's a lot of consistency, and even a few odd things, but those odd things still have a percentage of people having them. So it's not like you're the only one, it's whether, it's whether 1 million people are having it or 10,000 people are having it. You're certainly not alone, And, but going back to, so again, and I can say in the MILAB events, why that happens is because those managing the subject have the same question you just asked, which is, what are the ETs doing? Why are they here? All that kind of stuff. And what do you know about their technology? And, so all things ET, all things hybrid as well, those guys managing the subject have the same questions. They have a lot of answers, but not all of them. And they may be working with one group that they do have some information, but not having all the information and all the technology from another group, because there's a lot of evidence to suggest there's many different groups of ETs coming here and interacting with us. And so they're asking those questions, and they found that the abductees were another source of information, another source of data, if for intelligence purposes, if they can use us as another source of information, data, and answers, and use a lot of abductees, because they ask an abductee, how are they going to know if that's legit or not? They probably won't. But if they ask a couple thousand abductees the same thing, they're going to get some consistent responses, and that's how they're learning, and that seems to be exactly what they're doing. So, I can say this from the abduction research, my own experiences. And, and I don't want to oversimplify, because it's more complicated than saying, oh, it's all this or it's all that. And by the way, everyone out there listening, anyone who says, oh, it's all this or oh, it's all that, you know right away they're instantly wrong, because there's no absolutes. And the data is so layered that the data, the research, the statistical information from millions of cases, millions of, or at least hundreds of thousands of sighting cases, hundreds of thousands of abduction cases, and I'm talking about research investigated cases. I'm not, The numbers are in the millions in reality, but the cases that have been researched, investigated, looked into, et cetera, by major researchers and organizations, gathering the data over 80 years of ufology, you start to go, okay, there's things we can say with some amount of certainty, like there's a hybridization program. There's a collection of biological material, genetic material, sperm and ovum, and maybe stem cells and other stuff from the abductees, and there's a creation of hybrids. And it seems like it's not just one ET group doing this. This seems to be something that all the ET groups share, or at least, a significant number of them, because it comes up repeatedly. People can have different experiences with different types of ETs, yet there's still hybrids present with that particular ET group, or multiple ET groups at the same time. And so the hybridization thing is one thing, we know that the ETs are doing. I get asked this on my tours, and I can't go into as long of an answer as I have right now, but I often tell people, well, we don't know what we don't know, but I'll tell you, like what the top 5 things are, And I talk about the hybridization program as probably number 1. But I said, then we know that they're here doing cattle mutilations, that is seen in conjunction with sightings and ships. And the cows have been seen going up into ships or coming down from them, et cetera, et cetera. So we know that there is a connection there. It may not account for all cattle mutilations, but certainly I think a majority of them, and some of the highly anomalous ones, and all the highly anomalous evidence for them, combined with the sightings, suggests that, okay, there's a correlation for sure. And so you go, okay, there's cattle mutilations. And then you go, okay, there's crop circles, which is a worldwide phenomena, and craft are seen in relationship to the creation of some of these. So there seems to, and then some of these crop circles seem to have ET-related information in them, sometimes quite deliberately. Like I think of the ET holding the disc, or the Chernobyl response signal. There seem to be some that have a direct message specifically regarding ETs, and others that imply it, or have it in relationship to the sightings associated with the crop circle occurring. But again, it's not just crops, it's other substrates and whatever, but it's a worldwide phenomenon. Cow mutilations, it's not just cattle, it's sheep and horses and a few other things, but mostly cattle. And again, a worldwide phenomenon. Et cetera, et cetera. And then the hybridization, abduction, again, worldwide phenomena. And then they're seeing craft are going in and out of the oceans and large bodies of water a lot. And the Department of the Navy says our ships at sea and aircraft and ships at sea are seeing this on a daily basis. So there's a big interest. There's either an interest in our waterways, and or they're participating in some way in those waterways, meaning maybe they have bases down there or some kind of facilities or something that they're using those waterways as cover, as a way to hide, or a combination, maybe all the above. The movie The Abyss comes to mind because it was kind of like all those things together. And, it was all the above, why they were there. So you go, okay, it's like, this is, so what did I say? I said the hybridization thing.
Right.
And first let's just say abduction. So they're here for abductions, which are a majority of things, are not just the hybridization. It's also the development of psi, the training of abductees, making them acutely aware of the dangers of nuclear war, nuclear energy, etc., and making them acutely aware of changes to the environment, and etc. So there seems to be an educating and psi component, but that all falls under abduction. But I will list abduction, then I'll say hybridization, then I'll say the cumulations, the crop circles, and the interest in our oceans and bodies of water. I would say those are the top five, and then I could probably come up with, I'll add a sixth one on there. Their interest in nuclear facilities and nuclear weapons, nuclear missile storage facilities, nuclear weapon storage facilities, nuclear power plants, et cetera, et cetera. So their interest in nuclear ships and so there seems to be a real interest and a concern for our use of nuclear energy. So, and nuclear weapons. So I would put that as number 6. So, I just gave you the top 6 right there.
Awesome.
And like I said, if I sat here, or you could probably throw out some more that I forgot to mention.
Well, I mean, the way I'm looking at it is, we know these experiences are going on, as we got about 4 minutes to go. We know that these experiences are happening to good people, honest people, not only regular everyday people like you and I, but people who are involved in the government and government agencies. We know it's happening, but the complete denial of it, the fact that they are trying to act like Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, like nothing is going on in front of the public, I think is unconscionable to try and, manipulate the entire system with that.
Well, again, I think it's become where they're really trying to cover their I think everybody knows what I'm trying to say. But, I think they're really, it's all CYA with them. It's all because of the implications for their involvement and the information that's been kept. And it's like keeping society worldwide, keeping it down, keeping it uninformed, keeping it away from consciousness that would matter, keeping it away from technology that would help, keeping away from advancements in medical stuff, keeping it away from free energies. And I mean, the repression of science because of this, that there's going to be heck to pay, I mean,
Absolutely.
it's going to be a problem. And Senate and Congress, as they're looking into this, is going to realize how big of a onion this is, or ball of string this is, and it's just going to keep coming and coming and coming. But that's the beginning of the disclosure process. You have 80 years of obfuscation, 80 years of lies, 80 years of illegal activity. Gresh said people died over this. Oh man, I could go into examples. Yeah, they have. I don't know what ones he's talking about, but I know of a bunch. And if I know what I know, and other researchers have the cases and things they're familiar with, Gresh may know some of those and others, because he's hearing from people directly involved in these programs, and he knows he was threatened, but he's probably heard from a couple of people say that the threats kicked it up a notch to the next level, So to keep the secret, has money been appropriated illegally, unconstitutionally? Yes. Has stuff been repressed? Yes. Have people been killed or hurt? Yes. Have people had their lives or careers ruined? Yes. Et cetera, et cetera. And has the environment maybe been hurt as a byproduct? Have there been medical consequences to people as a byproduct? I mean, you can go on, and it's like, I don't think anyone wants to fess up to that, And why even try to, when you're profiting from it and it gives you ultimate power and control, if you're one of the companies or governmental bodies involved, And if you're the breakaway civilization, because you don't have to answer to anybody else, well, that's not true. And so what we're seeing is the beginning of what's going to be a really long process.
Melinda,
really, really long process.
Melinda, I'm going to get you to hold on right there, because we are going to go to break here at the top of the hour. Melinda Leslie, we have her for another hour here on Spaced Out Radio, where we're going to get into more disclosure, more aliens, more ET contact. And we'll take your questions as well. Spaced Out Radio. My name is Dave Scott, your host with the most tinfoil. We will return on Spaced Out Radio right after this, so stay tuned. We got a lot more show coming at you, so keep the tinfoil handy just in case. We'll be right back. All right, Melinda, let's go over to Dirty Filth here. Look at that. You are out of this world. Beautiful Dirty Filth. That's a Valentine, man. That's a
Yeah, I've been, I think I got about 5 that I'll have handy dandy.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right, Dirty, it's all yours. I'll be right back.
It's all me. It's everybody against me now. Unless we're all having a giant pizza party. But I'm okay with that. Everybody seems to be getting my calendar like lickety split. And I order the damn thing. It takes like 30 days to get to me. Doesn't make any sense. Oh yeah, pizza party. We'll have an extra cheese pizza for everybody. Everybody gets their own cheese pizza because you can judge a place by its cheese pizza. No, there's no jellyfish. I could probably whip up a jellyfish really quick, actually, out of that splotch of purple right there. I could put a jellyfish right there. 1 second. Let me grab the old number 4 here. Marine green. Here comes the marine green jellyfish. Hi, Blob. Switch up the old jellyfish roo. Oh, excuse me. Oh yeah, jellyfish roo. I wonder if you can eat a jellyfish. Seems like something you probably wouldn't want to eat. Oh, excuse me. It's Dave's fault for leaving me here unmuted. The little jellyfish. MG jellyfish. Look at that. Whip that right out of nowhere. What else can we do with little splotches of artwork I got here? Oops. Nobody even seen that because there's focus on the blob there. I apologize for that. Struggling here a bit. Yeah, there you go. Jellyfish. Look at that. What's... You know what? What can we do there? Let's just go with it, shall we? It's like a little clip. It's some kind of little insectoid thing. That's what we're going to go with. Move that out of the way. Let's give him some sharp teeth. Oh yeah, sharp teeth. And it's a biped creature. Gets a, you know what? You can't walk a little pointies. Give him 3 toes. You know, it's almost becoming a fish or a frog of some sort at this point in time. So best thing we can do is give him a pokey object. So we can poke things.
Nice.
Probably fish. I don't know, Dave. I'm just drawing over some of the blobs here.
Yeah. 1 second. Melinda's talking. I can't.
There's still people aren't up on this, and all I could do when I heard him say that is I agree because I get it from my clients and stuff, and yes, is awareness going up? Absolutely. Like when I think of what people knew on my tours 13 years ago and what they know now, there's been a huge increase in awareness and people following the disclosure stuff. The numbers are going up and up and up with my tours, but it's still not everyone. Yeah. And I get the people who are really new to it, really uneducated, really questioning, really skeptical. I get all those people too.
Right.
And like you say, the awareness is going up and the disclosure stuff is becoming more known. It's a slow progression. Now, every time it'll jump up as soon as there's a bunch of media attention.
Right. And, Melinda, hold on a couple seconds here.
Okay.
Thank you, Dirty Filth, for another great piece of art and sharing Blobber with us. We appreciate it. All right. Hi, to Rich Buddy for coming on in. Mike Rivers, thanks for joining us. And who else has come in late here? Let's just scrolling on up. Let's see here. All right. We are caught up. Thank you to T-Bone ×2, Major Lee, John, and Maureen for the super chats tonight. We appreciate it. Oob to Joe's Maine, you've got aliens. And Jessica Davenport, hello. And don't forget to shop at our store, spacedoutradio.com. We don't have ugly swag. Hi, Big J. Here we go.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Here we go with hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio tonight. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. Always appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hi to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on Odyssey Radio, TalkStream Live, and KPNL. All of our archives are free. You can join us at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Flounce. Flounce is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. We continue on with Melinda Leslie tonight. We are working on everything to do with disclosure, UFOs, ET contact. Melinda, thank you so much for being here. Very much appreciate you.
You're very welcome. I'm having a blast, Dave. I always do with you.
I want to start off with a little bit of breaking news, and I'll get you to respond to it. I got tipped off by some members of MUFON tonight, right before showtime, that MUFON has been hacked. Their database has been hacked. Their CRM system, which holds all of their data, has been locked down. They cannot get into it. They are panicking on the bigger level. Now, it usually takes a few days to get through a hack, but I mean, with everything that's going on in ufology these days, Melinda, is this something that surprises you that MUFON and their database have been hacked and they're locked out of it right now as we speak?
Well, no, there's a lot of shenanigans going on with the pushback. And, MUFON did have a role to play and did some things with going to D.C. and meeting with individuals and helping with the setting up of some of the hearings and stuff. So they had an involvement. And I think because of the pushback, there's attacking going on a lot of fronts. There's this whole, I don't know if you've heard about this, Dave, this whole Wikipedia influenced by a group called the Guerrilla Skeptics, I guess. And it's an organization that rewrites all the Wikipedia pages. And there's this kind of slash and burn they've been doing to the UFO researchers and the whistleblowers and their sites. They're like taking off people's credentials and backgrounds and stuff about their bios that, you know, say they're a physicist and stuff, you know, and some researchers are now going and looking at their pages and realizing they've been altered, et cetera, et cetera. So, and now I'm not following the story exactly. It's something I'm kind of peripheral and I need to get more caught up on, because there's been some people really looking into it and trying to say, you know, which organizations, which names, and how they went about. There's a couple articles about it. And so I need to go read those major articles and hear some of the interviews with some of the researchers on it. I've only done a little of that, and I need to do more because it's a big kind of developing story. But, you know, that's part of this pushback. And this kind of stuff has happened before. And media spin things that are also going on. And it just means we got to stick to our guns, realize they're playing by the old playbook, and this is to be expected, and to kind of ignore it and go on, move on to the next thing. You know, it appears that Senate and Congress are not stopping, and that the House and Senate are both going to have more hearings this year. And so you go, you know, this is moving forward. And these guys can kick and scream and push back as much as they want. Probably most of it's the behest of the DOD and DIA is my guess, you know. But yeah, so I did not know till you told me actually before the interview, you guys, you know, he told me tonight that he heard this on MUFON, and I said, well, I didn't know. But I'm not surprised. They did have an involvement. I'm sure that there's some attack going on there. There is on many fronts, and it's coming up in a lot of different ways. So I tell everyone, or I will tell everyone here tonight, ignore it. I mean, what you got to do is just say, okay, you fix any problem if it involves you, you know, unfortunately. But you got to just go, this is to be expected. It means we're over the target, right, Dave? You know, it means we're on target. We're over the target, you know, and we're going to get shot at, you know, that's just, and it's happened before. But we're closer, we're more over the target. We've maybe even landed on it a couple times, you know. So you know, we're further along, and expect some of the pushback will get worse, you know. But again, that's where you got to just say it only means we're right, you know. These guys pushing back only means we're right, because if this was all nonsense, they wouldn't be doing any of it, you know. They're pushing back because it's right.
I understand that.
And you know, I'm sure MUFON will get their situation fixed. They just got to have some good, you know, IT people working on it. And there you go. They're going to be fine.
Okay. And I want to ask
you.
I want to ask you though, because, you know, MUFON has really under the leadership of Dave McDonald has really tried hard to get into the governmental side of this story, to say, hey guys, we got thousands upon thousands of reports of people having experiences of the unknown, and we need to talk about this. Some have been highly critical of them playing the government lobbying game. Others have said this is the way we need to go in order to get this subject going a little bit further, okay, and to make it more mainstream. But that also brings out detractors. Do you think this hit on MUFON is just somebody, and I realize it's all speculation at this time, but do you think that this could be somebody who is maybe nefarious in wanting to delete their files, even though MUFON does have a backup to it?
I mean, I don't know enough about the story. Depending on how it happened, if it was really, depending on how it happened, and if they can kind of trace back where the access came from. And so hopefully they have some people investigating that. You know, not only do they have a team and people trying to get it up and back and working, but do they have people investigating, like, you know, following the breadcrumb, you know, to see where did this start with? Because it smacks to me of governmental pushback, DOD, DIA. But could it be, you know, someone with professional jealousy or something? Yeah, but who's going to take the time and energy to go after MUFON's records except the government? You know what I mean? So that's why I'm thinking everything about this smacks that this is a government or intelligence thing, because, you know, there's no real win for anyone else doing it, to spend the time and energy to do that, to move on. Well, you know, except for they have some people that have left them that are disgruntled, but I don't know that any of those people have the wherewithal, the knowledge, or the money to accomplish such a thing. See, that's kind of what I'm getting at. So, you know, I mean, you know, I don't know enough about what's happened, and I guess I'm going to have to hear about it from some people directly involved higher up with MUFON to get a sense of what actually happened. But it smacks to me of governmental. That's what it does.
Right. Right. And has the government, as far as you know, been on the heels of MUFON for their evidence? Because I mean, it's not very hard to get MUFON's files. I mean, all you have to do is pay for a membership and you can get in there and see the reports.
Yeah, but to cause a problem in the system where you can't access it, that's someone causing problems for them. And it's somebody with access and knowledge to be able to do that. So either someone has that hacking ability, and again, they do have disgruntled ex-people, board members and whatnot, and, you know, and investigators. And, you know, but I don't think, again, I go back to, I can't imagine any of them having the wherewithal and the hacking ability to accomplish such a thing, which, again, that to me suggests government. And you know, they're involved with people. Okay. All this disclosure stuff going forward. They're the people involved with government making it happen. And you have, you know, MUFON and their work, and you have, you know, Chris Mellon and Lou Elizondo and Danny Sheehan, and, you know, you can, whatever. You can go on and on. There's, and, you know, the Soul Foundation and Avi Loeb and, you know, Nolan, and, you know, you could go on and on. So you have these people pushing this forward, and you have their foot in the door and have the ear of senators and congressmen, as well as a bunch of researchers and podcasters and radio show hosts like yourself, you know, who have their foot in the door on some of this. And there's parts of government asking the right question, looking, having hearings, etc. So that part of government seems to be pursuing, even if timidly, they are pursuing and starting to ask the right questions to uncover this and to bring about a disclosure, or at least greater transparency. That's their goal. And we've stated that earlier. Some of them are doing it for the financial reasons of concern and loss of oversight, and others are doing it because it's a national security issue. Okay, because of the technology being withheld and the possibility of getting into foreign hands, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so there's all these reasons. Like I said, it doesn't matter to me why they're going after it, just that they're going after it. Okay. And they could be doing so for different reasons, and it's all good as long as they're working together. And right now it does seem to be bipartisan, and it's Senate and Congress. So these are giant steps forward. Okay, so, but then you have the pushback. And those pushing back could want to create problems to discourage others from being involved, to slow down the process of disclosure. You know, so is MUFON being tampered with to discourage them? Is MUFON being tampered with to discourage them, or to slow down their process? For all we know, they could be behind closed doors doing more stuff good things we haven't heard about. And maybe that's why the attack. So that's another thing I'd like to know. What's MUFON doing that might have brought on this attack? That tells me they might be shaking the tree. They might, they could be accomplishing something that they're just, again, it means we're over the target. Every time something happens because they're pissed off, it just means we're on target for exposing something they don't want exposed. There you go. And that being the truth, and whatever part of the truth that they have a vested interest in. So one group might be doing it because they don't want you following the money, and another group doesn't want you doing it because they don't want to expose the technology, and another doesn't want you doing it because they think it'll upset things, from religious standpoints, or and so just because when you paint it with a brush like DIA, there are factions within there, and of course I think there's an overall repression of the information getting out because the lie is much bigger. See, that's one thing I'm researching right now in Sedona is our underground base and the stuff associated with it. And I can say from what we're seeing and come across with that the lie is bigger than most people realize. It's bigger, deeper, involves more money than most people realize. And I think Senate and Congress, White House, are in for a real rude awakening for how big it is, how big of a lie, how much is involved, how much money, how much personnel, how much resources, because it involves these rather large installations and rather large reverse engineering program and crash retrieval program, and money spent on these large underground installations and on the research and development going on there, and a lot of corporations involved. And this is going to be a big process. Now, it depends on how you define disclosure. Is disclosure the president getting out and saying, we're not alone? Well, that may happen before some of this rest of this gets discovered, or science saying we have discovered evidence of an extraterrestrial presence or extraterrestrial life or something, and any one of those things may happen. And I think the way things are ramping up, if this continues, I don't see anything making any of this go away. It's just, it'll go slow, it'll go fast, it'll go slow, it'll go fast, but everything seems to be moving forward because of what's already happened so far.
Let me ask you, as we got 7 minutes to go here. Okay, what kind of issues could MUFON cause with their lobbying now in Washington, D.C., with the group they're paired up with, the A10 lobbyists, because they've never really been troublemakers. They've never really been disturbers of the movement.
Well, Dave, I'm not following what they're doing right now. So maybe they are making some trouble. Maybe they're helping to push things forward. Maybe they're providing them with some information. Maybe they've collected a bunch of pilot and high-level government official accounts that they're sharing. They could be helping to really push us forward. Now, I don't know because I haven't heard, and I'm not following what MUFON does. I'm not currently a MUFON member. I'm not currently very involved. I'll probably go to their symposium this year, and I'll get updated on stuff then. So they could be doing more that you and I are unaware of, and it would take someone from MUFON telling us, But if they're doing more we're unaware of, that could cause a reason for them to be flagged. If they've done nothing in a year and they're not doing any of that, then I'm led to think that this is some disgruntled person from within that happens to either have hacking ability or know someone that did and is like, oh, I'll show you, or I'll teach MUFON a lesson or whatever to create a headache for him. That may be, truth is we don't know. I don't know what they're doing right now to cause someone to do this to them. And I don't know if there's a governmental reason that would be there. And I don't know what they're doing behind the scenes, but it makes me wonder that something is going on behind the scenes.
Okay.
Because this suddenly happened. So that suggests they are doing something. And you know how it is. You don't have to do much to be a thorn in the side. I've had harassment in my years of research. I've had threats, warnings, harassment. You don't need to do that much. You just need to upset the apple cart or be looking into something that someone doesn't want you to look into, and they're going to slap your hand, you know?
Okay. Well, my final question on this is, there are other groups out there that are wanting to take over this research industry and public files, okay, to try and become a major player, or maybe become the next MUFON, or something along those lines. Could it be something nefarious like that? Could it be something that, taking out the competition?
I don't see any competitor. I don't think there's any organization really doing what MUFON's doing. There's other organizations doing other things, but they all seem to be very supportive of MUFON. I'm not seeing anything there. They do have some disgruntled individuals that they've had falling outs with over the years. Some of them very minor situations, some of them bigger. But again, this is a lot of effort and work. If what you're saying is true, I haven't heard this from anyone in MUFON, but if it's true, it's a lot of effort and work, which suggests to me, it's more than just someone disgruntled, that it's governmental.
Yeah.
Which then would suggest to me that they're doing bigger work behind the scenes than you and I are heard of. So if anyone out there is, closely associated with MUFON, listen to this, or is on the MUFON board, gosh, give Dave a call or me a call, or at least, send us a text, send us a call, contact us, excuse me, on Messenger, Facebook Messenger, because I'd be interested in knowing what exactly happened and what do you guys think caused it. Has anyone traced the source? Because you can do that. And if it's just a new thing, they may not know those answers yet. And but I'll see what I'll have to ask around for some people that I know, and you do the same. And so everybody, Dave and I will ask around. If I hear anything, I'll get back to Dave. If he hears anything, he'll get back to me. And I'm sure Dave, you'll do a show on it with an update, because this is the first time hearing it. So I have not heard this going on, and I don't know what the extent is or anything. But I don't think it's professional jealousy. I don't think MUFON's such a big organization, and there's no other organizations really doing what they're doing. There's a lot of smaller ones, and there's some new startup things, but no one's gathering that kind of sighting reports all the time and investigating sightings with teams of researchers being sent out to not only, interview the witnesses and the people having the sightings, but gather their physical evidence if they have any and whatnot. To my knowledge, MUFON's the only one doing that, unless, except for maybe covert government groups, but
right.
But for on the surface, or activist driven. No, I'm not. I don't think anyone else is even coming close.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I know hacking happens all the time. Whether it's just people playing around for a goof, or whether it's governments trying to infiltrate something. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. And MUFON does have a habit, Melinda, of if we don't talk about it, it doesn't happen. So it's going to be interesting to see how they play this out. We got 30 seconds.
You shared it. If it's going on like you shared, that suggests a maliciousness. That this isn't someone goofing off. This is maliciously someone trying to hurt them, or I'll show them. So it's either government like slapping their hand, trying to discourage them in some way, or at least slow them down. That, that's choice one. Choice two is some disgruntled person who knows a hacker, or because I don't know if any of the disgruntled people are hacker people. I doubt it. So I'm going, but it's someone with some knowledge who's able to go in there and create a problem for them. And so,
hold on, Melinda, we are going to go to break here at the bottom of the hour. Melinda Leslie, we have her for another 30 minutes on Spaced Out Radio. We will be back right after this on Spaced Out Radio. Stay tuned, everybody. Hi, Malcolm Hathorn. Welcome to SOR Chat. I missed a question here, and I can't find it. Survivor 67, it was from you regarding portals or something. Can you repost that in capital letters for me, please? I'd appreciate that. Thanks, Melinda. You're doing great tonight. You're on fire. That's you, Melinda.
Oh, sorry, it was muted. I said, oh, thanks.
I'd
like to talk a little bit more about stuff we're having out here. Now, Rob had me on about it, but I can give a little update.
Well, we'll try and get to that. I do want to get to
underground base stuff.
I do. Yeah, that's it. I think that was the question. I'm just waiting for it to come through. It was on something like that. We'll throw it in during the
or I don't have to do that if you'd rather we take people's questions.
Yeah, we'll get into everything. I think we'll have enough time.
How much more time? We don't have much more time though, do we?
We only have about 30 minutes or 25 to be exact.
Okay. Well, I'll let you direct the conversation. If you want me to get into the underground base stuff out here and someone asks a question about that, or if you want to take other people's questions, I'll follow your lead. I'll follow your lead, sir.
Mm-hmm. We'll figure it out.
I got to go back and get I reheated my hot apple cider I was drinking. It requires getting up off the couch and moving.
Oh, no. Hold on. Get up there, buddy.
Every time I walk past my dining room table, one of the research team members, I still have his Christmas present, him and his girlfriend. I have their Christmas present here on my table and still have not been able to get together with them because we're on such different schedules. And right when they said, okay, we can get together now, I was out of town in Vegas with Lorianne.
That Lorianne is nothing but trouble. Nothing but trouble.
You better believe that, man.
Hi, aloha, Dave.
That's the truth.
Oh, yeah.
But I guess I'm like, it's like Valentine's, and I haven't given them their Christmas present. And it's a cool gift, too.
Right.
Thanks for the new it was buying some fun UFO-related stuff to sell at the center. And I gave some of it to different people for Christmas. And it was really, really cool stuff. Lorianne and Jocelyn and my team members and got this cool stuff. Really cool stuff. Jay, Jürgen Voodoo Tom?
I haven't talked to Hoodoo in a while. I hope he's doing well.
Well, he's one of my team members, and I see him every once in a while. But I gave him some of the same stuff.
Right.
And like this, and look at this. This is like a little bag thing, and it not only does it have these cool gifts in it, but it has a bunch of candy and some hot chocolate stuff, and a Christmas card. It's still in there because it's kind of like clear and it's behind this whole thing. I'm like, God. And one of those things I don't know. We'll see how soon I get together with them. I might have to keep the stuff in there. I'll just get the gift
Sure.
and not the candy part. But no, it'll keep.
Thank you, Aloha Dave. Dry Toast, the best name on YouTube. John T-Bone ×2, Major Lee and Maureen for the super chats tonight. Very much appreciate it. And don't forget, info@spacedoutradio.com. That's info@spacedoutradio.com. You can get your VIP tickets now for our third annual SOR fan party. I will be there. The entire SOR team is going to be there. Rob G's Red Goatee is going to be there. And Melinda Leslie, Merle, and many more coming to hang out with you guys. So if you want more information, go to info@spacedoutradio.com. Les Velez, by the way, who will be on this show on the 28th, has officially said he is joining the special guest list for the second year in a row. Les Velez from Opus. Here we go with the next half hour, everybody.
I had to give Les as my buddy. I'm so glad to hear that.
Second half of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. Always appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Reminder to all of you that if you missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor. Hit that subscribe button. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter @Spaced Out Radio, Instagram @Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Here we go. Final half hour with Melinda Leslie tonight. Everything UFOs and what's going on. We're going to get to some audience questions here. Melinda, thank you so much for being here. Very much appreciate your time.
Sure, happy to do it, Dave.
Always. Let's get to some audience questions. And you talked in the first half hour about these underground bases. And Dogfather over on Twitter, or X, wants to know, when did David Grush say about where the underground bases were?
He didn't say where anything was. It just got mentioned. I don't know the specifics. But you know, they were mentioned in conjunction with other things, that he had been told about these things by people in the program as part of his job was for the intelligence community and for the task force gathering their information for Arrow. And so that was his job to do so and to interview these individuals and gather their evidence and everything. So he was fulfilling his job duty in doing so. But part of it included all these, various pieces of information. So I don't think he ever gave locations.
It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out, if there are these locations.
Well, no, there's these locations. I mean, there's everything we know about 51 and S4, area S4, subset of 51. There's everything we know about the Lancaster Palmdale facility. And now there's stuff that we know about, and others. I mean, over the years, there's many, many of these locations that have come up in the research, but those are ones in recent discussion. And then, of course, here in Sedona, our underground base. And I'm working with a team of people and the stuff we've got on that and the eyewitness accounts. We have a team of people that are actually going to investigate 4 possible entrances to the base. Some of them are very difficult to get to, and extremely rugged terrain. that I'm told it's like 4 miles of Jeep to ride to get out there. And they're in areas where there's not even ATV trails. And then some of them are, 2 of them are like that, and 2 of them might be a little bit more accessible. But one of them a lot more accessible. I just had veteran researcher Tom Dongo. Dave, have you ever had Tom on?
I haven't had Tom on in a long time.
Oh man, you got to have Tom. Tom's stories are phenomenal. I've known him for years and years and years, and occasionally we reconnect over stuff going on here in Sedona and about Bradshaw Ranch and et cetera, et cetera. And because of this, now he's one of what I call my team members, because I've wanted to involve him in this, get his input, his knowledge, and keep him abreast of everything we're learning. So he's one of the team members. Now, he's not going to go with us on these excursions because he's gotten quite a bit older and health concerns, et cetera, et cetera. But there is a team of people that are going to start checking out some of these locations. Right now, we got incredible rain here, bad weather, a little bit of snow, real wet ground. So, we're going to wait till after all that to check out some of these things. So it's not going to happen right away. I don't know if that means a month from now or 2 months from now or something, but we are going to check out these locations. A couple of the team members, well, I checked out some more accessible stuff already, and some of my team members did. Two of the team members went up this ATV road to get up on a hill here that we wanted to get up on and see. It was a better vantage point for watching the recent activity where we've seen craft coming in out of the base area and a huge amount of military swarming over the area, military helicopters over an area where there's nothing but rugged mountain terrain. For those who know Sedona, we're talking the Sycamore Canyon area, Sycamore Canyon, Government Canyon. And there's nothing but rugged, rough terrain. I can get off speakerphone. I realize that's probably not helping the sound quality there. And so we're going to go out and see a few of these things. And Tom was telling me about one location where years ago, 2 Cottonwood police officers on duty, in uniform, on duty, had a complaint about something. Maybe I have to get the full story from him. I'm thinking it was probably a complaint or someone suspicious of there being a meth lab or something. But there was apparently some kind of rubber-covered, manhole cover kind of thing, a door into the ground that if I remember what Tom told me correctly, I think it had a rubber cover or something. But in the middle, like in a field somewhere in a really odd place. And these cops, it was open. So they went down, and it's a stairwell. And they go down the stairwell, and they're down in which I can get into more, but we have all this research now saying that there's this 50-foot wide tunnel. And apparently years ago, these 2 cops found this 50-foot wide tunnel and started to walk down it, look around, and realize, oh my God, what did we stumble upon? This is an underground road in a fortified, tunnel, and, not rough, but like cars would drive this all the time. Like, what are we doing? And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, armed guards showed up, clearly military, but no insignias or whatever, guns drawn, telling these cops, turn around, go back up the staircase, and you were never here. If you know what's good for you, you were never here. And like it was implied that their jobs would be in jeopardy, And so I think they only shared it with maybe some immediate family and friends, but a gentleman they'd shared it with, I think was another policeman knew Tom. And I think Tom knew this other policeman that told him all about it. But it's just this amazing story. And then apparently these cops showed this other guy exactly where, and this other guy took Tom, and he says, I've seen this entrance, and knows right where. And he says, I'll show you on Google Earth so you guys can go see it for yourselves. So we're going to go check that out. But Tom said it's there unless they've covered it up, because he said he was last there like 10 years ago. So as long as they haven't covered up, we're going to go see that. And then, like I said, 3 other locations. 2 of them are very, very difficult to get to, but the eyewitness accounts who are there and what they saw are and have given us pin drops on Google Earth, so we know exactly where to go. And I have some very large name researchers in the field who are interested in, and people with connections to politics right now, who have said we have serious money and serious investigators that if you find evidence of any of this, if you can find one of these, we're sending teams of people. And I'm like, okay, so we're going to do some preliminary stuff, but we have some serious interest and possible some serious money, willing to have a team, check some of these out. And I wish we'd have that up front, but they're wanting some preliminary stuff to act on, of course, to justify expenditure. I get it. So, but we're going to check these things out. But, on my tour, we're having these massive amount of sighting over these hills and beyond these hills where there's nothing but 7 miles of rugged, rough mountain terrain, wilderness going back beyond, and where we're seeing not only a lot of UFO or UAP come in the sky, come down, go behind the hills. We've seen it come up from behind the hills, but also swarms of military, some jets, but what we think is a majority of helicopters swarming the area, often appear to be escorting these things coming up. And then that only go up, the military only goes up so high, and then the craft continue on until they disappear, and or craft coming in, and then the military swarms and kind of escorts them coming in. And I've had current and ex-military go out with me, and guys with the intelligence community and Defense Intelligence Agency with me who have witnessed this. And have, as soon as they see it, are quick to turn to me and go, you're watching a significant military operation, securing airspace for whatever these are. And then we speculate whether these are ET craft coming and going. This is an underground base known for ETs and humans working together. So choice number 1 is ET craft coming and going. Choice number 2 is ET craft in our possession, and this is some major training exercise to fly them or move them if we have a bunch of things in our possession. And we're, because of disclosure, it's the key under the cup, right? Which cup is it under, that they're moving stuff around away from prying eyes. And choice number 3 is it's reverse engineered technology, but we're seeing, no joke, a lot of the nights that my clients are out there with me or other researchers, we're seeing 50 to 100 of these craft flying over these hills, coming up from behind the hills, going up in the sky, coming down. Large amber power-ups, meaning a plasma field. I can get more into that if you want. And this military swarming over the area. And it's just nuts. It's super nuts what we've been seeing recently. And, the other night, for an example, my last tour, we've had a couple cloudy and rainy nights in a row. So my last tour was, I think, 3 nights ago, if I remember correctly. And I had a group of people, and we figured, now normally on my tour, as far as like formations, we'll see 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things flying in formation once in a while. Mm-hmm. Doubles happen 2 out of 3 tours normally. In my 13 years of doing this, And by the way, I'm at tour 1,783. So, as I was saying, triples, three things like in a triangle formation happen on an average of 1 in 10 tours. All of a sudden with this, that's been an increase. In all my 13 years of doing this 1,700 blah, blah, blah tours, the most doubles we had seen in one night was 6. Well, now we've broken that record a bunch of times, and now the highest number of doubles in a given night, and they were within an hour's amount of time, is 18. Triples, three things in triangle formation happens normally 1 in 10 tours. It is now happening 2 out of 3 tours. And the other night we had 3 in formation, definitely at least 4 times, maybe 5 times, but for sure at least 4. That we had 3 things flying in formation together. And so, we're having record-breaking stuff, record-breaking amount of sightings. And all of October was coming up and going behind one hill, which is between us and the back end of what would be Sycamore Canyon, what's called Kasner Mountain. And Bradshaw Ranch is right next door to that. For those familiar with that, that's our version of Skinwalker. And we were seeing stuff come in the sky, go behind Kasner, and come up from behind Kasner. Then that was pretty much all of October. We started to notice the activity in the end of September.
Right.
And then all of November, it was coming out behind what's called Black Mountain, which is one hill over from Kasner. That's kind of the other end of Sycamore Canyon, Black Mountain. And then all of a sudden, in December, at some point in December, early December, it moved behind Mingus, kind of. What might be the Government Canyon area or part of Mingus. Now, that's where Chino Valley area is and the town of Prescott. I've gone to those and checked them out. There's Prescott Airport. I've looked for any sign of what looks like a military presence whatsoever, and there isn't.
Okay.
There's anyway, so but we're seeing this high amount of this stuff. And, but it means if it's all reverse engineered, it's a staggering amount that we have. If it's not reverse engineered, it's a staggering amount of ET stuff flying in and out of Sedona's underground base every night. Everyone I take who has a military and intelligence background, their jaw just hits the floor, and they're just like, "Oh my God, this is a giant operation," And the numbers suggest. What does that mean? Well, it means it's a much bigger story than anybody realizes.
Melinda, well, let's get to a couple more questions here. We only got about 7 minutes left, and okay. Let's go to, let's see here. Let's go to Super Crazy. Melinda, do you think there is a connection between between Bigfoot and UFOs?
Yeah, there's. I am not a cryptid researcher. I'm not a Bigfoot researcher. I can say, and I used to poo-poo this, but I'm more than happy to be wrong, that there are areas here outside Sedona that have Bigfoot activity. My friend Jay, or Jürgen Hess, who goes by Hoodoo Tall, who's been on your show a couple times, researches it extensively, is one of our team members. And Tom Dongo has told me some other things. And so then there are petrographs and petroglyphs by the Native Americans going back here thousands of years. There's, long story short on that, in a bunch of our all of our canyon areas, but a bunch of them have a lot of these large panels that show these big hairy creatures and giant feet drawn and whatnot. And as soon as you see the images, you go, well, clearly that's Bigfoot. And so there's also Native American lore about that being here. So it seems that here we've got this intense ET involvement, but we have an intense, lesser degree, but we do have Bigfoot involvement. Now, a lot of times these areas where there's sightings, there's Bigfoot activity, and sightings have been seen in conjunction with Bigfoot experiences. So there seems to be some connection. I'm not a researcher of that, so you probably have had people on your show, Dave, that are much more qualified to address that. But it appears that I can tell you these Native American pictographs and petroglyphs, which is, rock art from the Native Americans going back thousands of years here in Sedona, have ETs and ships and the Bigfoot drawn on the same panels. So they're implying some kind of connection to be drawing them together. And there you go. So I think there is a connection. Now, I'm not a researcher of it, so you should ask somebody that is.
All right, let's move on here. Let's go to, let's see, Patrick. Do you know anything about the ET contact through quantum tunneling radio?
Quantum tunneling radio. No, it sounds interesting though.
All right, let's move on. And let's go to Stephanie. Melinda, what are your thoughts on John Polk in Sedona?
John's my friend. I now have like 5 competitors that occasionally do tours like I do. I've been doing longer for 13 years. And I worked with John at the Center for the New Age. He was a fellow psychic reader there. And John and I get along. We're friends. So I like John very much. He doesn't do it as consistently as I do. He left the center years ago. But at some point, he started doing some tours with night vision. And I haven't, well, I run into him periodically. There's, it's a small town. You go to any bar, restaurant, theater, you run into people, like constant. So I run into him from time to time. And so he's, yeah. And I haven't been on his tour. Well, I've been when he's led a skywatch for a large group of people, but we were kind of co-leading that. But I've not seen him in action on his tours to comment on it. I don't know exactly what he's doing there. I've had a few clients go with him and have had good experiences. So I have heard from clients. And there you go. So, no, John's a friend. All's good.
Awesome. I think that's great. Okay, let's move on here. Let's go to Super Crazy. Where do you think that crashed UFO is that's so allegedly big that they built a building around it to hide it?
Well, I'm only aware of one source from that story, and that's investigator, news personality investigator Ross Coulthart. And I like Ross tremendously, and with a tendency to believe him and what he says. I think he's a great guy. And but I don't know anything more about it than what Ross has said. So, if he knows of it or he's heard something about its location, he probably, was asked by whoever told him not to share it because of, implied dangers and whatnot. And there you go. So that's as much as I know. Sorry, I don't know more about it. I'm curious. And if they had something so big that they couldn't move it, so they build a facility there, I guess that sounds logical. There you go. Unfortunately, though, I don't know more. I'm sorry. I'm being tired. I'm tired, so I'm being flippant.
I know. And I want to say a big thank you for coming on Spaced Out Radio tonight. It was short notice, as Geraldine Orozco, who is supposed to be on the show tonight, well, she's caught up in San Francisco with that horrific hurricane-like storm that rolled in there.
Yeah, they've had record-breaking rain and record-breaking wind, and now it's all coming here. So we've had last night a lot of wind, because I have a very full, large trash can out on the side, and there's like the side of the building makes like a little cubbyhole right there. And then my car's right there. And the trash can is full and is rather heavy right now. And yet the gust of wind was so big last night, it actually knocked it over. And today when I went to pick it up, I go, how bad of a gust of wind could knock that thing over? Because it was actually really, it had a lot of heavy stuff and it was full. And I'm like, going, what? Some giant gust of wind knocked that thing over. So, so anyways, and now we've got snow coming here to Sedona.
Well, you be careful, Melinda. You be careful. We got to shut this thing down as we are through 2 hours on Spaced Out Radio. Coming up next, Steve Stockton from Among the Missing, then Travis William Moostus with the UFO or the Crypted Report. We'll be back right after this. Thank you, Melinda.
Sure. So I was yammering there. I was tired, so I was yammering, forgetting that you were trying to have me be concise.
That's all right. You had
usually I follow the lead, and I know I need to shorten it up or something.
I know.
But just then, I was forgetting that completely.
Love you, my dear. Thank you so much.
Oh, sure, honey. Sure.
We'll talk soon.
But that was fun. Hopefully, we gave a good show.
We did. Love you. Take care.
Okay, thanks.
Bye. Love Melinda Leslie. Once again, she will be in Reno for our fan party, leading the UFO Skywatch. I'll be right back, everybody. When you live in the wilderness, like I do, excuse me, and you head outside, and your sensor light is already on, and you're looking around, seeing nothing. And all of a sudden, up your driveway, you hear what sounds like a giant cat hacking and sneezing. Didn't see any footprints. So that's nice. Whew. Got the hell out. Juliana, how are you? Debilicious. Castle Dude, good morning to you in the UK. And who else is here? Oh, there's Travis William Moostus. He's getting ready. He's getting ready, everyone. He's stretching as we speak. Uh-huh. Yeah, he's in the hot seat up next. Yeah, that just scared the hell out of me, to be absolutely honest. It did sound like a cougar has a hairball. Maybe it's a smaller cat, though. I don't know. Hello, Human Carl. How are you? Yeah. Scared the daylights out of me. Oh, man. Thank you. Aloha, Dave. I could send you a beard if you need. I do have beards in the studio here. Just in case. Still looking for the passport. Gonna try something this weekend we're gonna draw out the house and try a pendulum over it. See if the pendulum will show where the room is. The Doug Shelby cannot go 12 and gauge until I officially get my my firearms license. Thank you, Dave. Dry Toast, John T-Bone ×2, Major Lee and Maureen for the super chats. And here we go with the next half hour. Yeah, here we go.
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. Very much appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on Odyssey Radio, TalkStream Live, and KPNL. All of our archives are free. Join us at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Flounce. Flounce is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets a password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. It's that time of the night where we kick off hour 3 and say hello to Steve Stockton from Among the Missing and another spooky story.
Hello, friends. Welcome to Among the Missing YouTube channel on Spaced Out Radio. I'm Steve Stockton, and I'm about to take you on an unbelievable journey of people just like you. Their stories and encounters will haunt us on Among the Missing. On June 12, 1985, Jewel Kaler drove his 41-year-old wife, Dorothy Dottie Kaler, to a train station in Pleasant Hill, California. After arriving at the station, Dottie purchased a train ticket, a simple task that millions of people do every day. However, for Dottie, it was a test of her courage. Dottie suffered from agoraphobia, an overwhelming fear of being in public places. It is unclear whether or not Dottie boarded the train, as she has not been seen or heard from since that day. Initially, Dottie's friends assumed she had left her unhappy marriage behind to start a new life in another city. However, as time passed without any news from Dottie, her sister, Diane Rusnak, began to suspect Jewel for her sister's disappearance. I think that Dottie could have disappeared to get even with her husband, who had disappeared on her for half of their married life, Diane said. Dottie married Jewel Kaler in 1973. According to Jewel, as she grew older, her home in Concord became a self-imposed prison. Jewel said, quote, Dottie would stay inside most of the time. She wouldn't even apply for a job, much less hold one down. It was a real problem, end quote. Dottie and Jewel's marriage gradually worsened over time. Due to Jewel's work, he was often away from home, and Dottie was often left alone. However, things took a violent turn on Thanksgiving Day in 1981 when their relationship reached a boiling point. Dottie's friend, Paula Powers, recalled the first time Dottie and Jewel had a physical altercation. Quote, she told me that they got in an argument. It escalated to the point where he finally hit her with a board or something, end quote, Paula said. According to Jewel, it was Dottie who initiated the fight. In 1984, Dottie joined a Women in Transition support group and attended meetings for over a year. Jewel was unaware that Dottie had joined this group. Dottie's friend, Shelley Wilson, noticed an instantaneous change in her friend. Shelley said, quote, as time went on, I would notice she was adding a little more color to her outfits. She cut her hair in a new style, which was a very scary thing for her. It was as if a new Dottie were emerging. Dottie took some secretive actions without Jewel's knowledge. She rented a post office box to receive her mail secretly. She also opened a personal bank account and transferred $5,000 into a cashier's check. Jewel was shocked to learn about his wife's deceitful behavior. Jewel said, quote, she had secret lives, a secret existence that I knew nothing about, and she wanted it that way. I wasn't even aware of it. I was just suspicious, end quote. 1 month prior to Dottie's disappearance, Jewel notified her that he had accepted a job transfer to Salt Lake City. Dottie told him she was not interested in going with him. Jewel said, quote, Dottie had said, in the event that I got transferred, she was not interested in going with me. So I wasn't expecting her to go with me. I wouldn't even have wanted her to, I guess, end quote. On Wednesday, June 12, 1985, Dottie set off on a trip to visit a friend just a few days before Jewel was scheduled to leave for Salt Lake City. Jewel drove Dottie to the train station and was confident that Dottie had her purse and overnight bag with her as she walked in. However, it's unclear whether Dottie boarded the train or not. Jewel said, quote, I dropped her off and she walked around the corner of the station and disappeared, end quote. The following day, Jewel took the train back home from work. He was surprised to find Dottie's blue 1963 Volkswagen Beetle beside his car in the train station parking lot. I walked over and looked inside, and there I noticed her purse, and that was very, very strange, Jewel said. Dottie's driver's license, $30, and library card were inside the vehicle. Shelley Wilson also found it odd that Dottie left her purse behind. She told me how important it was to her to have her purse with her all the time. That's one of the things that made me feel so terribly upset when I realized she had not taken her purse with her, Shelley said. Jewel left notes on Dottie's car for the next 4 days, asking her to contact him. He expressed his love for her in the notes and pleaded with Dottie to come home. Jewel waited for 5 more days before filing a missing persons report. Jewel moved to Salt Lake City 2 weeks later, where he built a comfortable new life. Jewel said, quote, it was hell living with Dottie. It was hell having her disappear the way that she did. And yet, since I've gotten here and gotten settled into a new job and that whole problem is behind me, things are really pretty good, end quote. Jewel never contacted Dottie's family or friends to see if they knew her whereabouts. Jewel proposed to a co-worker just 6 months before Dottie disappeared. He later wrote a letter to his fiancée stating that he had gone to great lengths for them to be together. He also wrote that he had never been in love before he met her. Shortly after Dottie was reported missing, Jewel moved to Utah and put his and Dottie's shared home up for rent. He ensured that all of Dottie's belongings were stored and that the house was thoroughly cleaned and redecorated before the new tenants and the police could see it. Then, in January of 1988, the Concord Police Department received a strange letter from Gary, Indiana. The police determined that DNA from saliva on the stamp and envelope belonged to a male. However, they were unable to match it to anyone. The document examiner believes the letter's handwriting was similar to Jewel's. The letter accused Jewel of being responsible for Dottie's disappearance and provided details on where her remains could be found. The search was conducted in the area, but Dottie was never found. There's not enough evidence to conclusively link Jewel to Dottie's disappearance. Now, it is unknown whether Dottie Kaler left to escape her troubled marriage or was the target of a crime. According to Detective Donald Mage of the Concord Police Department, if the case turned out to be more than a simple disappearance, Jewel and anyone close to Dottie at that time would be considered suspects. Dottie Dorothy Kaler is described as a Caucasian female with brown hair and blue eyes, standing 5 foot 9 inches tall and weighing 140 pounds. She has a scar above her left eye and wears plastic framed glasses. Anyone with any information regarding Dottie's disappearance or whereabouts is asked to contact the Concord, California Police Department at 925-671-5074 and reference case number 8512575.
And thank you to Steve Stockton from Among the Missing for joining us tonight, kicking off hour number 3. If you want more stories just like that, head on over to youtube.com/Among the Missing and join Steve today. Hit subscribe on his channel. From the missing to the mysterious, Travis William Moostus is here with the Crypted tonight's Crypted Report. Travis William Moostus of the Cree Nation in northern Alberta. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you here tonight.
Oh, it's wild. It's excellent to be here. I'm just getting a whole bunch of loud frequencies going off, that high energy, vibrational frequencies. Everything's going great here. You've caught me just at the end of my holidays here. So how's it going?
I am doing great, man. I am doing fantastic. I am, excited about the Cryptid Report that we're going to do tonight because, it's always interesting the monsters that you are chasing down. And for what a lot of people don't know, you are actually a monster hunter. This is what you do, both in the physical and in the astral plane. It sounds a little weird. It sounds a little too rich to be true, but this is your job. This is what you do for a living. So for people who may be a little unfamiliar with that, how did you become a monster hunter?
Realistically, I didn't think of it that way as it began out. Like I was just kind of learning these spiritual things in life, and I was just taught like things to look out for and how to deal with certain things and what certain things are protections and looking at life like seeing the different energies and vibrational frequencies of these beings and understanding which one's there for good and which one isn't, and dealing with a lot of different kind of cases. Like my uncle was a spiritual healer, and I should say about like 4 or 5 of my uncles were medicine men and healers, and a lot of people would travel out to them and get healings, and a lot of times it was a lot of these spiritual entities or things like that were haunting their houses or places or them, and so like I've had experiences with seeing how that's done in different kind of like different ways, and meeting different people throughout my life too, as because like my family was very spiritual, so we had a lot of different spiritual people that were looking to contact them or be friends with them, and so I've managed to acquaint myself with quite a few people out there across the world, not just native folks. There's a lot of other people out there, very, very talented and very gifted folks that are connected to spirit, and it's very, like I said, I have a lot of those people too in my life and friends, but as for spiritual ways and things, I've just learned throughout my life from my cultural ways and I should say my mentors, which were basically my family members in that regard. So
wonderful. So when you are out on the road and you are, looking for these monsters, what kind of territories do you go into in order to search for them? I'm talking more the physical right now.
Yeah. All right. So usually when it comes to places that are being checked, like I usually go check out the places that are contacting me, like say if houses are being bothered, reservation out in urban area settings like that are surrounded by trees and forests. Where as for other places like in the city, it's a lot of like hauntings and I should say dark energy spirits that like to float around the city all the time and into people and different kind of things like that. As for out in the forest in the physical world, yeah, like I said, it's mainly in the woods and I should say out in our area, people who are comfortable enough to let me know, right, and go check it out. Other than that, like people just kind of tell me what happened and let me know the situation or the case or the thing that went down, or say if they're missing dogs, or if there's there was some sort of big thing that was jumping on the roof, or you name it, right? Like something scratching on the side of their house, things like that. And there's been those cases as well, and are dashing out of the woods like the other night there. And my cousin was showing me these foot tracks that were huge, and like I said, it looked like a coyote wolf or along those lines of a coyote hybrid. Some people want to say dog man, and like I said, I'll wait for more evidence before I go to dog man. But as for now, I do consider all these things to be real, and especially when it comes to aliens and extraterrestrials that just people tell me about their experiences, and yeah, it's all around our area pretty much. There's really no boundary for it. It seems like it's all over and everywhere, and yeah, it's a widespread phenomenon all across the world. I'm just from this what I've been dealing with all my life.
For you, as you, I got to get you to mute there for a quick second. For you, who's been doing this your entire life, what are some of the stranger creatures you've seen with your own eyes?
Oh yeah, so there's been a couple of I should say foul spirits and things along that nature that were just totally yellow-eyed out in the forest there, and they were standing up, and it was looking pretty daunting and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, we're all just kind of looking and trying to understand what this thing was, and there was really no need to blast such a thing. We were just kind of looking and just kind of cautious, but we weren't. There's there's a certain thing some of these things are seen, and like I said, I've shot at the spirit moose before, and and nothing happened. There was no blood or anything. It just walked off after 5 shots straight at it, directly at it, and when followed it in the woods and heard it breaking trees and everything, but there was no blood on the ground, nothing. And I was just blown away by it. Aside from aliens and extraterrestrials that were out that are out there, then just a lot of spiritual beings eagle beings and different kind of things that have made themselves present and known to me. I've dealt with a lot of little people out there, on this friendlier note, aside from monsters like cryptids and stuff like that. Like I said, there's a huge array of that kind of stuff out there that are lurking and running about, and some people would call them little goblin guys, but they're just little forest folk kind of deal, and they run around, and they're brownish, grayish, tan little beings, and they live in the ground and come out of tree trunks in different places and from out of hiding and run around and cause commotions in the camps and steal items and things at night. And, what else could I say? Yeah, both the man buffalo eater spirits, which have been a problem for a long time, that I've seen and heard of and had to deal with, and they can actually become animated, their energy can you see them fully in I should say, they can actually become a animated spirit form in our physical world. They can generate themselves, and they could show themselves running on 2 feet, as a person, but running up the walls and running room to room and breaking doors down and windows and everything. And there's been a lot of that stuff. as for like your, the cannibal, thing that runs around at the, sometimes I have, like I said, that that's a past history with my family, like with us having to deal with the evil one. Our family in our area was called upon a lot when we'd hear reports like of it going around and attacking communities and people. So my great mushroom there, my great grandfather, Chief Headman Mustis, he would gather with like 4 other individual like spiritual medicine men healers with elders as well, and they would have a council together and decide like and get I should say the how should I say it, it's like spiritual guidance from the sweat lodges and ceremonies and to go forward with that kind of thing, right? And they would end up having to go hunt these beasts down. And the last one that was killed was just in between Fost and Swan Hills area here in Alberta. And the reason why they call it, what I've heard from my family was the reason why it was called Fost was because when the settlers and white man was moving up more north to the native tribes up here, and with the building of the railroad, when they reached that area of Fost, the natives, we told them about the evil one and how it was out there and the dark spirit and, taking people and killing people and stuff like that. Right. And so in the church, the old word for Fost meant Devil's Town because of the native stories back then. And it's still named that today, Fost. And, yeah, like it's still like a cautionary tale. And, but the whole idea of like, of our family being the ones who were dealing with these things, that's along with other people, is, like I said, goes back for like well over 100 years now. But
that's amazing. 3 minutes to go before we got to go to break here in the bottom of the hour, the Crypted Report tonight. There's been a lot of talk about aliens, UFOs in the news lately and all around. You deal with this on a personal basis. Tell us an encounter you've had with an extraterrestrial.
All right. Yeah. There's been quite a few. On ceremonial levels, they'll fly right over the ceremonies and right in their ships, and then these ships are huge, but like our human eyes just don't detect them, but they're there, and they're like, you can tell they're crafts. They're not just like some smear or smudge or anything like that on the camera lens. This is like they're real like beings out there. And other than that, like I said, in ceremonies, when they come down through and they help heal people or bring energy and connection to the universe, then that's another way. Other than that has been like I'll have like a lot of encounters with them with where they come and take me kind of deal and bring me aboard ships. And I've seen interiors of these crafts and different kinds of crafts, and then from there I've seen like crafts from like in our physical world, like where I've just videoed them and seen them, and they come flying by, and I'm just like, look at that, through our atmosphere there. And it just amazes me every time I see these craft and these different designs, and it's always like I can feel that connection to them is like it's always there, right? So like with the extraterrestrials though, like the ones I've experienced have been very very human like. Other ones that I have met were they were like little blue guys, and they've had like dark blue almond eyes, and they wore suits. Like they weren't like naked like most of the artist depictions. Like they actually wore suits, and they had like nice little cool armor, and like their weapons were very different and very unique, and the technologies were fascinating in all the sense. Like they're and just some of the places and things that they were showing me, like including like some of the crystal tablets and libraries and ships, and I should say stations that are within our galaxy and that are all around our areas, like our planets and different moons and stuff. And these bases, a lot of them exist, like I said, on a level and frequency that we can't get to. So like Jupiter, whenever we send like satellites into Jupiter, they just explode or break. They're not able to reach that frequency level and travel through that barrier, that level of protection around it, right? And yeah, it's very fascinating. A lot of them are very telepathic, very very kind beings. It's very interesting, some of the stuff that I've encountered with in terms of galactic presence in our galaxy. And also too, not only that, but like when I've done readings for people, like there's been a lot of their star family that comes through, and I end up connecting them with them as well. So I've I've seen many different kind of beings in that sense. Yeah.
Right on. We have Travis William Moostus. We're going to get into some cryptid talk and encounters with him right when we get back for the final half hour of Spaced Out Radio. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. Very much appreciate you tuning us in. Let's do it right after this again. We'll be right back. Your hair's getting long.
Is it?
Yeah, let's see it. I'm jealous. Jealous.
I don't tell. I can't tell. Like I just braid it and wake up. That's just it.
Now, your culture has a thing, almost a biblical thing with hair. It's strength. Is that what it is? It's about strength, knowledge.
Yeah, and wisdom. Yeah, and it's like your yourself, the creator, and then you're tied to the medicine, and it all ties together. Like yeah.
Wow.
And then it's like Avatar. I get to hook it up to a tree, and we get to talk.
Crazy. No, that was good. Oh my! Wow. You played the Avatar card. Maureen is asking, isn't it used like as a radio frequency as well?
Yeah, there's that. Yeah, it's like a sense, like a spiritual sense, like it gives you that, like a sense of the energy in the air. Yeah, it's like a hunting thing.
Yeah, that's cool. What kind of animals do you have up there?
Everything, like elks, moose, deer. Like I said, the coyotes, the wolves, the cougars, the lynx, the wolverines, the the muskrats, the beavers, the rabbits, the what do you call it there? The groundhogs, the little ferrets, the little weasels, the birds. Do you have the big moose up there like they do in the territories, or you got the smaller size like we have? No, these guys get pretty big, and they're very aggressive when you see them. You know what I mean? Like they're kind of like you're in my area kind of deal. You know what I mean? They do get pretty, like they'll charge a truck driving by, or you know what I mean? Like they're. Oh yeah, and the bears. We have the bears, and
Do you have grizzly?
Oh yeah, black bear, grizzly, brown bear.
Yeah.
The last one I seen was a giant grizzly bear, and when it was running, it's like its mass was so huge that like it looked like it was running slow motion, but the thing was running at like 60 kilometers per hour. You know what I mean? Just like just tailing through the woods. Like
yeah. I've only seen a mama grizzly and her cubs. That's it. And they were in an area here where we don't really expect grizzly bears. But I mean, if a mama and her cubs have moved in, and it was funny, it's right in moose territory too. Right in moose. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And also too, another thing that's been kind of like building up out here was the wild boar activity. So,
yeah, I heard that. You taking part in the cull on those?
Yeah. If I do see them or come across them, yeah, of course.
Yeah. It's weird how they're all of a sudden coming across, like going right through Alberta, Saskatchewan.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and real fast too, like lightning fast. They just tear through the woods as well.
Yep.
I wasn't sure what I was seeing when I saw it at first there, and then I realized what it was, and when it started like running through the bush a little bit more, and I was like, oh yeah, that's it, you know. But like I said at the time, I was kind of caught off guard and didn't expect to see one out here. I was like,
oh, kidding. Yeah, we have south of us and north of us, but they haven't hit our area yet. So we're hoping they don't, but it's only inevitable. So, all right, we got about 45 seconds. Big thank you tonight to T-Bone with a hat trick, Dave, Dry Toast, John, Major Lee, and Maureen for the super. Oh, I forgot to put Debster on here. The Debaroonie tonight. Debaroonie. Thank you for everyone for the super chats. Greatly appreciate it. Don't forget, you can shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. We do not have ugly swag. We got cool stuff there, everyone. So make sure you go and excuse me. Make sure you go and pick out your swag today. You can actually wear it out in public and be proud of it. So check it on out. And here we go. Here we go with the final half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. Very much appreciate earning your listening ears. Reminder to all of you that if you missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives by go to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor. Hit that subscribe button. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire. Check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Travis William-Mustus, Crypted Hunter, is with us for the Crypted Report. And Travis, I'm curious as we bring you back in here, how many reports are you getting from cryptid activity as we are about halfway through winter?
Ooh, yeah. Actually, quite a bit. It seems like the dark winter months do tend to bring around the hungry cryptids from the forest, and they've make their way around properties. And I get about like maybe four or three so far this year. As for last year, I was getting a lot more reports from the UFO activity, and people like telling me about like signs of like craft and lights in the sky and different kind of experiences they felt that they were having, and they're just deciding if they're going to go get hypnotic therapy to get the memory back of it. They're just like, I don't know if I want it. but other than that, though, like I said, so far this year, I've gotten about like 3 or 4, and it's just been like, we're just into the first week of this month, like of this year. But I think it has a lot to do with the solar activity. I really do believe like the sun is opening portals out there, and the frequency is like jumbling enough for it to just like kind of like even our frequency of our reality is like leveling up into it. So it's like it's just kind of merging together, like so it's allowing some of that crossover to happen, which is kind of beautiful.
And what are people seeing?
Yeah, people are seeing sort of like they want to say they resemble like animals, but they look very ancient or from another world. Like they say, like I want to say it's a black panther, or I want to say it's like a jaguar or like a giant ancient like cougar or something that's just running around. Or people want to see this like this large long beast, and it's like, I'm like, all right, I want to see it too now. So I've been looking around for it and setting up cameras and all sorts of stuff. But like I've been on holidays right now at this time. It was my older sister's 50th birthday, so happy birthday to her, and my sister Ro, and yeah, we went up to the mountains. I got to check out a bunch of stuff, and it's been awesome. But like when I get back, I'm gonna be checking out my cameras, and hopefully I got some footage or pictures to show you guys.
Well, I mean, that's exciting. That's exciting. Now, these creatures that people are seeing, are they having close encounters or are they witnessing from a distance?
Oh, so the one dude said he was seeing seeing it run by, like it was running by in the open field, like it was chasing something, and then it darted back off around. He heard it like running alongside the quad throughout the forest, like as they were driving by, and he said he was scared for his dog, right, and terrified himself, like like of the whole event. So like to the point where he had to get me to go look at these tracks and see these things the next day. And like I'm like, all right, man, like this sounds pretty legit. I'll set up some cameras. And then and then the other guy said it was like he said he wasn't sure. He said it felt like it was metaphysical, like, but he said he's seen it sitting there, like looking there, and like in his front porch, like through the door, like and he lives in the urban area, right? So looking inside, and then he went to go open the door, check, because it was so big, like he thought it was somebody like looking in, like through the front window, like like hello, like good morning, right? And then went to open it, nothing was there, and he said his dog was all scared and barking and stuff at the door, like someone was there, like. So there's these things like that. And like I said, and then for spiritual activity has been like ongoing all the time for me, like especially when it comes to people like always like talking, like, or saying like, hey, I got something, like there seems like to be something, and then we do a little bit of an investigation, and then we find out it's family, and then if it's like something bad or malicious in that sense, then we go from there, right? We do other procedures and things to get rid of it, and then create a form of a spiritual barrier for their area and frequency out there, so that negativity can't cross there or go there and harm them or disturb them or cause disturbances. There's that, right? And there's like other ways too. Sometimes they have to be removed themselves through through, I should say, other means, like spiritual means and ways.
Okay, so with the creatures people are seeing right now, okay, are they causing any harm? Are they damaging any homes, livestock?
A lot of dogs a lot of animals are going like missing. That's what's happening right now, and they're after livestock, because the places that are being that are telling me these things have a lot of like chickens and different kind of like animals that are around the area. There are cows or like things that are sitting in a field, kind of open prey kind of deal. So they are, like I said, it is like I said, the cryptids, they do come out during the winter, right? Look for something, an easy meal.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So with these creatures that are coming out, do you find that you're dealing a lot more with Sasquatch or Dogman reports, or the W word reports? Because I know you don't like it when I use that word to describe the one creature.
You know what? Sometimes sometimes it's other, like, sometimes it's totally like mysterious kind of like happening, whether it's like an animal that's found ripped up in a mysterious way, or if it's like a livestock that just had its, like a horse's neck just was broke. One time we found it, and it was just like the horse's neck was just broken, and we're like, whoa, what would break that horse's neck and just leave it there like that, like. And then there's been a few other things, like where we found like the legs of like mooses and stuff like that were just snapped, and like like different kind of like creatures that would do those kind of things, right? And some say, like, some of them look like just shredded or ripped like differently. And so I got to look at some of these, like when I see the animal, I try to look at what what would be natural, and like what's there, what looks some like oddly, oddities and things. But yeah, like we found a few like different kind of like things over the years that have been just like straight up like pulverized, like by other kind of beasts or some form of like I said, cryptid that we're not really sure of. Could be an insect or something along those lines, or could be one of those the serpent guy running around, or serpent creature still lurking in the woods out there in the rivers. So
Blue Cruz wants to know if you've ever encountered any pale crawler humanoids.
Pale crawling humanoids, like in the astral realm, yeah. Even huge, like flying ones that look like stingrays. They just had huge, like they had like round heads and like just like creepy looking like facial structures, but they were like huge, giant, like stingray ones and stuff. But yeah, no, like just like astral realm kind of deal. Like I've seen that kind of like spiritual realm kind of deal. Those kind of beings, yeah, those guys. And same thing with the jellyfish too. The jellyfish ships, like the ones that I've seen were just massive on scale. I thought they were like just like another living creature out there in the planet, but they were like planet size. The ones that I was seeing out there in the spirit world and whatnot, right? So it was kind of funny when I seen the little one flying around. I was like, oh, that's just a little guy. Man, there's bigger ones than that.
All right. One of the creatures that I have a vested interest in is they seem to hang around a lot of Canadian reserves, is the green men. Now, some think they're reptilians, others believe they're aliens, others believe that there's some other type of cryptid in this world. Have you ever seen and dealt with those?
Yeah, that sounds like guinea pig Napuyo. That sounds like the snake men are the keepers of the mountains. And yeah, these guys they're very, very esoteric, and they have the powers to transform into living snakes themselves. And yeah, they're like, they have the complexions and appearances of green scaly skins and yellow eyes, and they carried staffs of power and different kinds of ancient artifacts from Atlantis and different kind of caves and systems that they've managed to make their dwellings in over time, over the thousands of years. And yeah, like they sometimes, like, if there's people that have connection to that, those old connections through DNA and heritage, like they'll take those people in, and then they become that society, a part of that society. It's like it's very, very it's like a very spiritual hidden society that exists out there. Like I've only heard it through the legends. Like I said, they like keepers of the mountains kind of deal throughout native country and native tales.
Are they harbingers of danger? Are they creatures that want to be left alone?
Yeah, they're beings that are typically left alone. They find a sanctuary in their own seclusion, and but they've been a connection to this planet and to the inner Earth for thousands and thousands of years, and not only that, but like also too the ancient cities of our time, ancient dragon cities, and all that connection to the past, like connecting through to the Ohio Mound and Serpent Mound, and down even further south, trailing all the way back to Atlantis and Lemuria, and yeah, like it's they're they, like I said, they have had their society in the mountains, and they've been known to work with giants. And there's a few tales about settlers chasing up a lot of natives to the mountain. They went running to their safety of the giants and snake people in the mountains, and the settlers couldn't get them because there are these boulders just flying down at them, and all these different like tales I heard about. You come to Jasper and you see some of these pictures and you hear the tales, right, and things. But they, like I said, the snake people, the green man, like I said, the lizard folk, they've been around. It's no, go gone that way. It was the dragon men. They're around.
Scary on that part. Jessica is wondering if you've ever encountered little people in the woods, and if so, what's it like?
All right, so the little people, depending on what are you there wrecking their place, their sanctuary? Because if you are, they'll it won't be the best of times, like including like throughout your sleep there in the camp to when you go home. They might even track down you wreck your vehicle or wreck your stuff. Things will go missing. Like it's kind of like an annoying little things too, not just like not just like simple little stuff that you won't care or go missing. It'll be like, you know, like the stuff that you need kind of deal. And but yeah, they're very tied to spiritual energy. They have they have means of like they have their connection to spirit in very very unique ways, like especially with healing orbs and light orb energy, like forest energy. Like they can chat, like they can go around, they can fly in those, and they can use that energy to even like manipulate the size of ourselves and like our frequency able to go down right into their world. And people will actually like time like actually speeds up, and like you know, people go missing for weeks or months, or you know, and then they'll come back, and to them they spent like a day or two with the little people, and but when they come back, it's been a week, they were gone, you know. And it's just that high vibrational frequency. It just speeds up everything, right? Like because they're just on a higher frequency level. And the little people though, they're very joyous. They're very, like I said, very like they can be very like they're very like very knowledgeable, and they want to teach. And they, like I said, it's like always like a thing of respect with them when it comes to learning from them or dealing with them. And I always try to leave like nice little things for them. I never leave chocolate, because chocolate, they become like a little terrorizing, like they become little monsters themselves. But I do leave like I'll leave like gum little tiny gum balls and like little kind of things like that. They like shiny stuff and mirrors and different little objects like that. But yeah, no, it's like I said, the time that I seen them though, like I woke up, they're messing with my hand, like trying to, like, you know, I don't know if they're jumping on it or doing something, moving it or something, but I felt it, and I woke up, and then they went running off in the woods. They're all giggling, hee, like I could hear all their little laughs, like it just sounded like hundreds of them. They're just like little shaking of the woods, just like shh, and I'm just like, whoa, you know, like, and just running and like spreading out, like, you know, like they like they spread out, like, as you know, like if I was you go after them or something, you know. But like I was just like, whoa, you know. And when I woke up, like I heard that, right, like they're just scurrying off and into the wood line kind of deal. And but yeah, that's how I know they're real, like they're experience firsthand, like experience there with that. But oh yeah, I wanted to talk about the city thing, and like you're mentioning, like how can we see more of these cryptids like in our areas and natural world. It's like I said, the rivers and streams and lakes are like a natural flowing energy, that current, right? It just flows throughout the forest. And like I said, these natural points of lakes and mountains and rivers, it's all like they're also gateways to the spirit world, as in our native world belief. So like cryptids and these higher energy frequency beings from the universe all just like this float through that energy and exist. And when we're there, we're kind of like entering that existence as well. And that's where the experience happens, and things start to, you start to, enter into their world, right? And experience them. But as for like the cities, being out here now, like like I could see the total difference. Like at night, you could feel the current of electricity flowing through all of the city. And then that acts as an energy, so like at night, you don't really see, the werewolf man running around as like back in the day when they only had candles lighting up the London city of streets, you know what I mean? Or, like I'm just saying, like as reference, but what I'm getting at though is like the current energy that flows throughout the city, you know what I mean? Is like, it acts as like a kind of like a, I should say like a higher frequency barrier for not just every cryptid running through. And like, we like to think, like man likes to think like we conquered nature and world by building all these concrete structures and these mega cities and whatever. But like, as soon as a storm comes and Mother Nature could just totally set that off balance, and, like off with the power grid, and like all the monsters come back out of the city, and then that's just how that goes right there.
Oh, I can see that. We got about to go here before we have to say goodnight to you. We'll end it on this question from Dino Bravo. Does Bigfoot stink, or just someone that has not washed in a long time?
You know what? Let me answer this question. It's like it is like yeah, they do stink, and it's not. It's like it's almost like a bear, like old old berries, and like like kind of like a real musky kind of like scent to it. Like you're like, whoa, what is that? Like you do smell it, and like I said, sometimes it's, you know, a little rotten, sometimes it's not. But like other than that, like I said, it's very musky berry kind of like scent that like old berries left out or something, you know.
All right, we got time probably for one more here. Blue Cruz is asking, do you have any encounters with giant insects?
All right. Yeah. There's been a few like astrally, like mantids and different kind of mantid queens and yeah, there's been those kind of creatures that have been like you know, that try to like work on the astral realm and mess with a lot of people on Earth and our frequency. So I've had to deal with a lot of those guys, but like as in terms of like insects, like encounters, like giant insects in the woods that were like flying around and doing things like, yeah, like just giant, like you know, they almost look like birds almost flying around and stuff. Yeah, just things like that, but not really like on the level where I had to fight them or any encounters or, you know, just weird interesting things out there.
Very true. And you know what? The one thing about big bugs or any bug in general, they do not like the Canadian cold. Maybe in the summer when it's warm, but they do not care for the Canadian cold. That's what I love about winter. No bugs, no mosquitoes.
Yeah, the beetles get pretty big. Like I was just gonna say, it was a huge big black wood beetle that just got massive in size. Like it looked strange, like, you know, like and it flew right into the house that time and whatever. You know what I mean? Like I'm just saying, it, like we thought it was a bird and stuff. It was like, whoa, it's actually pretty big. And, you know, threw it back out. I didn't kill it. I just threw it back out. But that's how I am. Like I said, if it's not posing any threat or anything, I don't just go and take it out or anything. Like I think it's part of the natural world and there's a balance for everything, right? So connection to a lot of that.
That works. We got less than a minute to go. Travis William Moostus on the Crypted Report tonight. Do me a favor. Tell everybody where they can find your work, your art, everything.
Okay. Yeah. You can find my artwork at Travis William Art. Actor, writer, painter page on Facebook. You can find me on Blue Lightning Cards on YouTube. You can find me Blue Lightning Cards on TikTok. You can find me on Amazon under Travis William. Fort Sunder is one of my book names, and the second one is you have to look under books, and it's The Palladian Who Stole Me and My Heart, written by Travis William as well. So you can check those out. Thank you so much, Dave. I appreciate it. Everyone watching, y'all are spectacular, and it was so awesome to come on here tonight.
Well, we always have a good time when you are on here, my friend. You always make it interesting. And I look forward to every time you're on the air because what you see and what you've encountered absolutely makes me shake my head. And I'd love to see actual pictures or video of these one day because, you know, the one thing about the monster game, we really do not know what is truly out there. Travis William Moostus, love you, my friend. We will talk to you next week on Tuesday for the Crypted Report. And we say hello to Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal, rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at work, at home, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone in our chat rooms tonight. YouTube, Twitch, LGAP, Facebook, Spreaker, LinkedIn, the Space Travelers Club, and on X or Twitter at hashtag Spaced Out Radio.
I know you're out there somewhere.
Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends,
we're watching.
We own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Woo Train has docked for the night. But soon, my friends, we shall ride again. Your seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we've got room for them too. Good night. There we go. We is clear. Clear as day.
Yeah, I plan to get a lot more pictures this year around for like when it comes to cryptids and out in the woods. So I'm excited to get those for everyone, and yeah, it's going to be excellent timing of the universe for all that, right? So stay tuned for all that, I guess.
Right? That's a good thing.
All right, Dave. Well, you have a lovely night, Dave. Thanks for inviting me on. It was a pleasure once again.
All right, buddy. We'll talk to you next Tuesday. Travis William Moose, everybody. All right. That was fun. I am so tired. I went back to the gym today. I'll be back at the gym tomorrow. My knees and my legs are so done. I can feel my knees going thump, 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 thump right now. Oh, I hate that feeling. Is what it is. All right. Let's go like this. And like this. Like this. All right. Who's on tomorrow night? Let's find out. Kevin Wright. Veterans for UFO Truth. That'll be a fun show. Be a very fun show. All right. Any questions for Davey? No, that's my knees and my calves right now, T-Bone. All right. That goes right there. And then Melinda swears bullshit. Right about 14 minutes in, so that's 16, 2-minute intervals, 14.
Copies of emails between Grush and the Arrow office and Kirkpatrick. And, of course, Kirkpatrick being the one who heads up Arrow, or did. And so there's a paper trail showing the amount of involvement. We've had a couple of the UFO nukes guys who testified and shared their information, their stories, and their evidence with them, crying bullshit. And their evidence with them, crying bullshit. Sorry about my language. I apologize. Crying, stories and their evidence. Crying bullshit and their evidence with them. Crying out anyways. And then Grush doing that.
April 10th, big guy. Hi, Brianne. How are you? What's going down at the African Wild Triangle? I don't know. I haven't been there in a while. I've been too tired. Like, I'm exhausted today. See what we can figure out here. Well, there's a bunch of oryx. See what's happening at the other one. Nothing. Want the goods. You know what I'm saying? Want the goods. Nothing happening there. Nothing happening there. The elephant park has like 3 elephants way off in the distance. Nothing really happening there. Right. Thank you, my brother Eugene. All right, we're going to wrap this up for tonight. Tomorrow night, once again, Kevin Wright will be with us, Veterans for UAP Truth. And it's going to be a good show, everybody. I hope you really enjoy it. Thank you tonight to T-Bone with a hat trick of super chats. Very much appreciate that, love. Thank you so much, buddy. And thank you to Dry Toast, Deb, CS, Maureen, Major Lee, Dave, and John. Greatly appreciate it. I'm going to hit the bed here and in a couple of minutes and go rest my knees. Talk to you tomorrow. See ya. Have fun.
healthy, my friend.
You too.
If you need bail money, give me a call.
Always, Dad. Take care.
You too.